this season, it is a CFL doubleheader. We kick things off in the nation's capital where all eyes are on the Elks. And then we head west to Regina for a western clash between the Blue Bombers and the Saskatchewan Riders. Rough Riders, it's Friday Night Football on TSN.
It's Friday, coast to coast. The CFL is Canada's game. Well, we're all pumped up to party, and we're ready for a fight. Come on, get back, relax, watch the Friday Night Football. Boys, it's been bad. The CFL football game is up for grabs. It's Friday Night Football tonight.
With Chris Jones officially out, Jarius Jackson moves from the booth to the field, making his head coaching debut tonight. Now, the Elks have to be better in so many places, especially defensively, because a guy like Drew Brown coming off a career high 480 yards against the Elks on the weekend. It is a rematch of Sunday's showdown, a quick turnaround to say the least. And as we mentioned, it's a double dip on Friday night for the first time this season. Kate Burness alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Jim Barker as we get you set for this very fascinating first game. And as I said, Chezzy, all eyes on the Elks. They have yet to win a game this season. And everyone wondering what is going to happen with this new regime.
Yeah, Kate, new head coach, same starting quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why McLeod Bethel-Thompson is a starting quarterback and not Trey Ford is not because of Chris Jones. It's because Macbeth is the best quarterback on that team. That being said, that man right there, Trey Ford, he will play tonight. He'll be in the game at some point. Because I think Jarius Jackson's smart enough guy to know that this guy can give them a little bit of boost, something they need, and he'll be out there at some point in form or fashion.
Well, a boost is what the Ottawa REDBLACKS got last week from the Lord, Khalil Pimpleton. He came in, 4 catches, 153 yards, a touchdown. He gave them that dynamite big play guy that they haven't had. I think he's a perfect fit for what they're trying to do on offense. I can't wait to watch him tonight at home.
Coach, you're talking about the big plays, and this is what this team, the Edmonton Elks, have to prevent tonight. Drew Brown is playing with a lot more confidence. He's throwing the ball with a lot more confidence, but this defense needs to do a better job getting the deep balls on these DBs, Chaz. You know, probably top 3 worst things that can happen to you on a football field, getting a deep ball on you. They need to do a better job, but I'm looking at that defensive line. Armando Sewell, the new defensive coach, defensive line coach on that defense, he has been talking to me about the defensive line and how much more pressure they're going to apply, and they will need to do that to Drew Brown so that they can be effective.
We will see if the change at the top makes any difference to this Elks team. And it's very interesting as we take a look at history here. We look back to 2022 in the QB comparisons. The Elks have gone 8-33. Trey Ford has accounted for 5 of those wins. The biggest question is, will we see him tonight? Chez believes we will at some point. MBT's your starting QB, but it should be a great one in Ottawa. We will get you there right after this.
Breaking news from the CFL. The Edmonton Elks have fired general manager and head coach Chris Jones.
We have not given up on this year. It's time to try to turn this thing around. We're going to do everything in our power to get our first win and get this thing going in the right direction.
The players, they believe, the locker room is still together. There's still a lot of football left to be played.
We're excited. We're excited for his opportunity, you know, and we want to make the most of it.
Of Abbotsford, BC. This is your chance to win big thanks to Save on Foods' $1 million touchdown to win. If the kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns in this game, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Kenneth. Let's get you to Ottawa.
Friday Night Football tonight.
Welcome to the nation's capital, exactly 1 decade and 1 day after the REDBLACKS played their first ever game at TD Place. A memorable one, too. It ended in a victory, and they celebrate their 10th anniversary. They continue against a team they just beat 5 days ago dramatically, and because of that loss by the Edmonton Elks, Matt Dunnigan, it led to changes. Chris Jones fired as head coach and GM, and the interim head coach is Jarius Jackson, no stranger to the CFL, 20 years in, 9 as a player, 11 as a coach, including some time earlier with Chris Jones winning a Grey Cup in Edmonton. And Bob Dice can relate to what Jackson's going through. Twice he has taken over on an interim basis, and this is his second full-time season as head coach of the Red Blacks, who with that victory on Sunday are 3-2.
Yeah, that's right, and this guy's led him to those 3 victories. And he had a career day last week. You heard Kate mention it, 400 yards passed, and needed every one of them, particularly the last 29, to set up Lewis Ward for his chip shot to win it. And this guy, 24-28 in the course of his career, 0-5 with the Elks this year. He knows how to win. They've been close, knocking on the door. See if they can't crack the code tonight.
There is Trey Ford, and you heard the panel talking about it. Expect to see him to get in some action today. McLeod Bethel-Thompson, the starting quarterback, and Darius Pickett back with Tobias Harris for this opening kickoff. The Elks won the toss. They have deferred, so Ottawa gets the ball. It gets started Friday Night Football. First of a doubleheader off the foot of Boris Beatty. And it comes down to Pickett on this kick return. If you're wondering about Devontae Dedmon, he got hurt last Sunday in Edmonton and is not playing tonight.
Yeah, and we have the privilege of watching a lot of quarterbacks grow up in front of us, and it's been a privilege so far this year watching Drew Brown take a hold of this football team, this franchise, and learn on the fly in front of our eyes. And what we saw last week was very impressive. He's kind of getting accustomed to finishing strong, as he's done it a couple times here for some last-second victories.
Yeah, last time here against Hamilton. A final drive for a game-winning field goal, and that's what happened last Sunday. Throwing in first down, and the intended receiver is their leading receiver, Justin Hardy, but it is knocked away, and it's incomplete. Second down coming up.
Not only do we get to see a lot of young quarterbacks kind of figure it out on the fly, we get some veteran right tackles, and Ruby draws in at right tackle, and he's in as Dante Bull is healthy enough to dress, but Polios is out, and then we've got this guy, Pimpleton, who's absolutely unbelievable last week in Armstead. He's a pleasure to watch. Rookie making it happen.
Pimpleton had 4 catches for 170 yards. Here now at the 34 and 2nd and 10. With movement in front, that's caught. And that is Khalil Pimpleton. Sorry, 4 catches, 153, and the longest of 70 for a touchdown last week.
Yeah, and you heard Davis talk about him in the studio. Just absolutely on fire and explosive. They need that. Pimpleton's right here. He's going to run a deep corner, and watch him. Ball's thrown right now. He's not open. He's completely covered. Just spotted beautifully by Drew Brown, moving the sticks early.
Gain of 21 up to midfield for the Red Blacks. Opening possession. Week 7. And here's Brown to throw again. 3rd straight time. It is caught. The rookie Nick Mardner, and picks up about 5 yards as he heads out of bounds. And how about that defense for the Edmonton Elks, Matty?
A lot of talk about this defense, justifiably so. Got to figure out how to get off the field quicker and keep people from scoring, stop the run, all those things, all the above. Jason Shivers going to get them in order. Oakman, big addition with them. Morgan in the middle, absolutely an animal, tackling machine on the back end. You got a veteran free safety, and Lucius Purifoy is going to try to handle these young DBs and communicate and get them in the right spots.
So a gain of 5, and Brown to Mardner. 3 straight passes for Drew Brown to start this off. Coming off a big week on Sunday. He swings that out. Braylon Addison has the catch, turns it up, and gets another Ottawa first down. They're in the Edmonton zone. Mentioning Drew Brown, Matty, last week, right up until the end. He had a big day slinging the ball.
He really did. And it was good to see Dominic Rhymes come to life. Had his biggest game of the season thus far. This guy, 70-yarder right here, running away from everybody. And it was explosive. 480 yards with the guy making just hay while the sun's up, and capitalize on those opportunities every last second on the clock.
From the Edmonton 43, throwing off to the right, it is Pimpleton on that hitch. And he does good work to break a tackle by Kai Gray and pick up something for it inside the 40.
Yeah, Drew Brown, he joins a pretty hefty list right there. Veteran quarterback Trevor Harris, Henry Burris, Hall of Famer. Trevor Harris now with Saskatchewan lit it up, and we know he can knife with the best of them. And Drew Brown's right there in the mix at 480 in his young career.
Drew Brown, just his 6th start. There's Hank's name.
We called his first game together in
We
1999.
did his first start. That's right, with the Calgary Stampeders in Montreal.
Special. A guy like this kid, number 3.
Just inside the 40, the 39. It's a 2nd and 6. Brown, nothing but passes his opening drive. A look down, deep caught. Dominic Rhymes inside the 5. 1st and goal, Ottawa. Rhymes coming off his best game since coming back to the Red Blacks last week in Edmonton.
Yeah, Dominic's going to run here, and again, the ball is thrown with timing and spotted beautifully. Dominic Rhymes at the end. It almost looks like he pushes off right there, separates from the DB, and the ball's there, and they're knocking on the door. Drew Brown, beautiful drive. Getting some help from Pimpleton on that last 1st and 10. Broke a couple tackles, put him in 2nd and manageable. Now they're knocking on the door.
It was a gain of 36. Rhymes last week, 7 catches, 131 yards.
Breakout game for him.
Really was. So 1st and goal from the 3. On the ground, Rock Armstead. Touchdown, Ottawa Red Blacks. They made it look easy on that drive, and that was the first running play of it. Another touchdown for Armstead and an early lead for Ottawa.
Rod like a hot knife through butter, and it was just stop us if you can, and they can't. It's been a problem for Edmonton all season thus far. And so on the first drive, the Ottawa Red Blacks give the Edmonton Elks a lot of what they gave them just 5 days ago in Commonwealth. And beautiful first drive, the way you want to start every game.
Raquel Armstead in his first year in the CFL, capping off a 7-play, 76-yard drive in 3.5 minutes with that 3-yard run for his 2nd touchdown of the season. And Drew Brown picking up where he left off last week at Commonwealth.
Yeah, and spotting the ball beautifully in a couple corner routes, and one to Pimpleton and the last one to Rhymes. But the throws in between were impressive because they're out with timing when the receivers had something to do with it. Very accurate. Just a heck of a start for Drew Brown, picking up where he left off with that 29-yarder to set up Lewis last week for the victory. Peek at this drive, Rod. This almost looked like Skelly. Drew Brown just back there knifing Edmonton's defense and secondary, which is really young. Got a lot of second-year players still trying to figure out, learn how to communicate. That's the play I was talking about. Addison catching the ball underneath, making people miss. There's a little push-off on Breton, and veteran Rhymes got away with one. An easy walk-in touchdown for the new guy. Rock.
Yeah, Rock. 5 completions to 4 different receivers. There is an injured member of the Edmonton Elks down. That is Sam Achimpong, defensive lineman. His 2nd year with Edmonton, started his career with the Toronto Argonauts. And so while he gets some attention, it's the Red Blacks and their defense getting ready to come on the field. After the work of their offense, right down they went. Capped off by Armstead after a lot of effective passing by Drew Brown. That is Sam Achimpong in a lot of pain down on the field here at TD Place, and still getting attention from the training staff of the Edmonton Elks. So look at what happened on that touchdown play by Ottawa, Matty.
Yeah, and he's right here, Rod. Defensive lineman. You're going to watch Ruby, and he's going to come down, and he's going to actually fall on him, and there lies the problem. He gets rolled up on. Just keep your eyes on Ruby. He falls right here, and Archibong is in a position where he can't take that blow. Which you see him down on the field, and he's moving around like he's in pain. That's not pain, folks. That's frustration. So much work goes into it. 4th-year player from Wilfrid Laurier, just realization of what just happened and the seriousness of it. And you can't speculate, but watching this and watching this young man frustrated on the field, heart goes out to him because we know what he's been through, how hard he works. You want to be able to do your job, and friendly fire catches you.
Yeah. Some applause from the fans here at TD Place as the cart out for Sam Achimpong, drafted originally by the Toronto Argonauts, and and moving over to Edmonton in a deal last season, but hurt on that touchdown play by Ottawa at the end of their drive. And yeah, you said it, you know, obvious pain, but you could also sense just as he was pounding his fist down to the field, just the frustration of what this injury could mean for.
Pain's nothing there.
Yeah, young Sam
Just
Acheampong.
frustration.
So a tough start for Jarius Jackson's Edmonton Elks in his head coaching debut. And boy, I mean, they're 0-5, Matty, but they have had some close losses.
They really have. And this doesn't help them. They're continuing to dig a hole for themselves to climb out of. But last 3 losses have been by field goals, walk-offs. And that's tough to swallow because you play so close and you got to figure it out. They brought in some veteran players last week and trying to help them.
Well, Lewis Ward at the point after, and it was on Sunday that he was the most recent one to hurt the Elks with that walk-off field goal. But this is how it started, at least in terms of those walk-off losses. Lirim Hajrullahu, and that was a few weeks ago in Toronto, and then at BC Place, Sean White.
Yeah. Pick your poison. Our kickers in the league this year and for several years now have been deadly. The battery has been unbelievable with the deep snappers, the holders, and they've just been making it count. And Chris Jones bared the brunt of those last 3 losses, and it's not getting, you know, that's incredible. This number right here, average margin of defeat, 4 points. That's heartbreaking, but that's the business. Chris Jones knew what he signed up for, and Jarius Jackson gets the opportunity now to see what he can do.
Well, I mentioned the first time that Jackson was there coaching, Chris Jones had brought him in back in 14 and 15, and such a different story for Edmonton football. The old Edmonton Eskimos, nothing but success as they went to the West Final in 14, and then they went on to win the Grey Cup over the Ottawa REDBLACKS back in 2015. They had seen better days, but this time for Chris Jones just not to be a struggle right from the beginning and finally let go. And a short kickoff and coming in. Eligible football for the REDBLACKS, who say they have it. Of course, on a kickoff, everybody's onside, running down, and they let that bounce around a bit. And it's Jacob Plamondon coming up with the ball. It is Edmonton ball, but that was close to disaster on special teams for the Elks.
Yeah, and it was a pooch kick, and take a look at McLeod Bethel-Thompson. You know, he's just glad it turned out the way he did. Plamondon, who's a converted defensive end to running back, has recovered that one. Decent field position at the 35, but more adversity diverted there with the heads-up play by Plamondon.
So McLeod Bethel-Thompson on for the first time in this game last week, 26 of 35 for 272, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Handing off to Kevin Brown. They really tried to get him going. He had 35 yards rushing only last week. That has been his game average so far this season. He was second in the CFL in rushing last year.
Yeah, and the guys that are responsible for protecting the quarterback and opening up those holes is, you got Mark Corte, love him, 6-year player from the University of Alberta, and you got Brett Boyko on the right-hand side. He's healthy now and playing right tackle. Kevin Brown got to be relied on. Hergy Mayala. Hey, Hergy, when you get inside the red zone, that's who McLeod Bethel-Thompson's looking for. 4 TDs on the season. 2nd
and 8 now, and throwing, and it is complete to their leading receiver in terms of yardage. That is Dylan Mitchell with the catch, but not nearly enough for a first down. They just get it up to the 40. Punting unit, and Jake Julian is coming on.
Yeah, a little check down Charlie there for Dylan Mitchell's, like as you said, Rod, leading receiver, 24th catch of the season now. Not enough for the first down, so momentum early. REDBLACKS.
Back for it, Tobias Harris. As mentioned, Devontae Dedmon injured last week. He has a hip injury. Not in the lineup tonight. Their star kick returner.
Jake Julian averaging 52.5 yards a punt.
And
leads the league.
I was going to say base punting and net. Yeah, over 40 yards net. Julian, the #1 punter right now in the Canadian Football League.
He says he doesn't have to worry about kicking anymore.
The 5-yard penalty.
He just concentrate.
Third down.
He can just concentrate on punting, and we see how that's working out for him. He's got a strong leg.
He's booming it.
He is flexing his muscles.
And with them penalized, he's going to have to boom it a little bit further too. With He's standing back at the 20. Harris is standing at the Red Blacks just inside the 20 and backing up a little bit. Definitely respecting the leg. Look how far back he's gone.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, take this opportunity to wish Devontae Dedmon a quick recovery. He's on a 1 game right now, so hope to see him back soon. Tobias Harris. Yeah, he's a good 55 yards back from the line of scrimmage.
He is their starting field half as well on defense. Julian. Another beautiful punt. Well, as far back as Harris went, it wasn't enough. He had to backpedal to the 10. Decent return for Tobias Harris to get across the 20. 63-yard punt, Jake Julian. But the work by Drew Brown the first time he had the ball, 5 for 6, 73 yards, leading to a touchdown and a 7-0 Red Blacks lead. American Ninja Warrior is back. New ninjas, new obstacles, new episodes. A new American Ninja Warrior. That is Monday on CTV. Rod Smith, Matt Dunnigan, Claire Hanna back at TD Place for the start of Friday Night Football, a doubleheader tonight. And the start of Week 7, the Red Blacks lead by 7, but a penalty negated the punt return. They start from their 15 in the hands of Rock Armstead, who is tackled for a slight loss on that play, taken down by the new strong side linebacker, Derek Moncrief.
Moncrief, veteran player, just brings a presence to the locker room, something that the Elks are continuing to tinker with, particularly on the defensive side of the football, trying to find some direction and how to finish games. Had a bad start there, tackle for no gain.
They spotted right back at where they were at the 15, so it is a 2nd and 10, Ottawa. And just the second running play they've had so far. The other was a touchdown by Armstead. Back to pass and 2nd and long, and just getting rid of it barely in the area of Jalen Acklin, and Darius Bratton was dangerously close as well, as Brown was lucky under the pressure from his end zone just to get rid of the football.
Yeah, we're looking at, I believe it's right here, top of the line, and Drew's hanging on this ball, hanging on this ball, hanging on this ball. Ruby's doing all he can. Brown continues to retreat, and he aborts, throws the ball under duress. I don't think he knew he was throwing it. He was lucky to get that ball to get pick 6 on him.
So Leone from inside his 5 with some heat on does get rid of it. Javon Leake. He takes it just around midfield and he backpedals. He actually goes back inside the 45 when he is taken down. So it was a 2 and out for McLeod Bethel Thompson on that first possession. Well, after a punt of 43, he's back on again. The Elks still looking for that elusive first win of 2024. Back here in Ottawa, and a challenge, the first one thrown by Jarius Jackson, looking for a no yards call, Matt.
Yeah, I think he's got a claim here. Quarterbacks are not scared to pull the trigger, and Jerry's pulling the trigger early here on this one. You see a date right there, and he certainly looks like he's within that area, possibly right here as well. And I think he's got a case on 2 accounts. We'll see.
So they review that and just waiting for the ruling, but this would, with a penalty, put them to start their drive in the Ottawa Red Black zone. The ball right now at the 46. Here's Ben Major with the result.
Upon further review, the ruling on the field is overturned. We indeed have no yards. Ottawa number 20. It's a 15-yard penalty. It's going to be first down for Edmonton.
So in his head coaching debut, Jarius Jackson 1 for 1 in the challenge department.
How about it for the quarterbacks? Head coach Jarius Jackson pulling the trigger, not afraid. You know, he talked to us earlier on Wednesday in Zoom calls and talked about how the first thing he wants to improve on is starting field position. So they took the ball at the 35. From London made a heads-up play and a pooch kick. And here they get a little help from no yards from the Red Blacks, and now they're starting on the Red Blacks 48. Not bad.
So here we go. McLeod Bethel Thompson. They're in good position now to start this drive. Throwing quickly to Geno Lewis. who found Lewis more often last week. Much talked about how he needed more targets, and this is a sample of what he did against Ottawa last Sunday when they nearly won the game.
Yeah, and you look at this receiving core as a whole, and yeah, they've been outstanding, and you get this guy going much like they did last week, and it could be scary. You just step back and you look at the talent there, and it's impressive.
So it's second down. They're inside the 40. Second and short. And it's back to Kevin Brown, who pulls his way down to the 30. And that is a first down. Another one, as mentioned before, they really want to get going, get something working with that ground game.
Yeah, exactly what you want to happen here. Strong arms it to a little hitch route, picks up 6 or 7. Then you got second and manageable, and you pound it in there, let the big boys fire off and set their pads, so to speak, and set the tone here for the rest of the football game.
On first down and running it again. Back to Kevin Brown inside the 30 and around the 27. Second and long is coming up. There's the Red Blacks defense.
Yeah, with Michael Wakefield, one of my favorites to watch. He can dominate any football game when he puts his mind to it, and he's great on the interior, eating up blocks. Santos Knox in the middle, got a little help from Pickett on that first and 10 plays. Stop on Brown. Back end, Sherrard Baltimore, 7th-year player from Maine. 0 interceptions, only 4 over the course of his 7-year career. I think it's because people throw his way.
Backfield clears quickly off to the left for a first down. It is broken up. The veteran Sherrod Baltimore coming in on Dylan Mitchell, knocking it down, and that's 3rd and 7.
And that's why, you know, he's just baiting him. He understands the down and distance situation, and he breaks in this ball. Top of your screen, watch him work here, and he's looking. He sees everything break. He knows. He just kind of hesitated there, just ever so slightly. He might have had his 5th career interception, first of the year right there, if he had just trusted his eyes.
And so Boris Beatty comes on to try the field goal. He is 7 for 9, longest of 52 in the season. 1 for 2 last week. Disappointing with a shorter miss around 31 yards that could have tied the game last week in Edmonton.
That was one disappointment.
So Beatty puts that through, and the Elks do get on the board after Ottawa took their opening possession down for a touchdown. Edmonton gets much closer, but broken up there by Sherrod Baltimore to leave him to go for 3. This was the latest heartache for the Edmonton Elks last Sunday against Ottawa. After they had tied the game with just seconds to go, Boris Beatty kicked it out of bounds. Big penalty to set up this. One pass, Brown to Pimpleton to set up the winning field goal and a walk-off, and that was it for Chris Jones. Jarius Jackson takes over. We send down to field level in Claire Hanna.
Thank you very much, Rod. And when Jarius Jackson found out that he would be taking over as interim head coach from Chris Jones, he said he was numb. He told me you never want to get this kind of an opportunity in this fashion, but it was out of his control, and right now he needs to lead not only this team and organization, but the city of Edmonton as the new head coach of Edmonton. Now, in his first meeting with the team, he said to the group, this is a new season, a new beginning. Everybody's starting with a clean slate. They can't change the fact that they're 0-5, but he wants to hold guys more accountable, take no-nonsense penalties, and more importantly, get the win.
And Claire, they open up with a screen to Raquel Armstead and picks up the first down on that one from Drew Brown. So yeah, Jarius Jackson, Matty, we remember him as a quarterback with the BC Lions mainly, and Toronto Argonauts briefly as well, but it's been 11 years of coaching as well since his playing career ended.
Yeah, bounced around mainly in the West, BC, Saskatchewan, Edmonton a couple times, but Jarius is in Toronto one time, and yeah, he's no rookie when it comes to coaching. He's been around some great ones too. More on that as this game goes on.
Up to the 53 now after a gain of 13. Brown throwing again, and Noah Taylor has him. Brown gets sacked. Looked like he was asking for a call there too on Taylor, wrapping him up high and taking him down for Edmonton's first sack in this game.
There's Noah right here, and he's just going to get upfield and get his get on the board, so to speak, you know, and get a stat here, get a quarterback sack. Drew kind of comes right into him, and bang, big time play, setting him back at 2nd and long, playing behind the sticks, first time in the game for Drew Brown.
Loss of 5. Noah Taylor, first year, the North Carolina Tar Heels. from the Ottawa 48 in a 2nd and 15. 5-man pressure, and it's knocked away nicely by Kai Gray. A flag comes out. After that, fell incomplete. Gray moving in the coverage, and the intended receiver, Dominic Rhymes.
Yeah, and I think as he tried to undercut him, he got a little too much of the body on Hardy, and he was trying running the route for him. ISO right here. This is Rhymes on the dig. Well, I didn't see much there
Little
at all.
Little tug to the jersey with the left hand.
At all. Whew. I think that's a break for the Redblacks. They'll take it.
We get it down to the Edmonton 45 and a first down Ottawa. With a 7-3 lead. Handing off to Rock Armstead. Taylor in the act again too, but Rock is able to take it down to the Elks 40 and a pickup of 5 yards.
Yeah, we saw him on a screen pass to start this drive, and this is 16th reception of the season already. Well, we know what he can do. Did you know, Rod, do you know how fast he ran the 40 in his pro debut? Do you know how fast he ran 40 in, this kid?
No.
He ran a 4.45. 4.45. And we see him. He's a big bag. He goes about 220.
Someone that size running that fast. Hard to bring down. Deep look. End zone. Close for Khalil Pimpleton. With a big touchdown last week and certainly has some speed. We saw that, but not quite enough. Is that Brown throw looking for the TD strike went a bit too far.
Here he goes, and he's going to try to get vertical, and he does, and he is on his horse, and he is flying. The ball is ripped by Drew Brown, and you can see it. He's trying to run underneath it, just runs out of room, time, and goes incomplete. Had him. Drew just missed it.
Well, he impressed many, including us, with his speed, Pimpleton's speed.
Goodness.
He went just down the right side. He outran all the angles too, and picking up that touchdown. Here's Lewis Ward, 5 for 5 last week in Edmonton, including the game winner. Oh, it takes a turn with the breeze as well. It started off straight and went drastically to his right as Luches Purifoy just picks up the miss in the end zone and just gives up the single point. So that one, we've seen that a couple of times, that you'd see a kick that looks like it's normally heading straight, and yet not much of a breeze here. It took a crazy turn.
We got a great look at the snap and the hold. Plenty of ball there. No problem with that hold. And then it just took a hard right. Looked like at the beginning of the season with.
And you could see the upright flags, Matty, in that replay. Yeah, the gentle breeze, but the flags at the time weren't blowing all that strong. And yet it really took a turn to the right on Lewis Ward. For a rare miss for the Ottawa veteran kicker. So up at the 40 after giving up the single. And Trey Ford is in at quarterback. We were told by Jarius Jackson that we would see Trey Ford from time to time. They plan to get him into action. That's his first reps of the season.
Welcome to 2024. So many things that need to go well for the Elks. Last year, this kid was a big part of their success in their 4 wins.
He got his first taste of the action back in week 9. They had an 0-8 start, and then he got in against Winnipeg. And that throw is a bit high for Geno Lewis, and so it's a 2-and-out quickly. And Ford's first appearance this season, as Edmonton will have to punt it away.
Yeah, the idea was McLeod Bethel-Thompson, veteran guy. He can teach this kid a lot and how to operate from the pocket, so to speak, if in fact that's in his DNA, which I don't think it is. He's more of a mobile guy, but word is from the camp in Edmonton that this kid has made strides in the right direction. We got to see him for the first time.
Jake Julian's at his 30. Tobias Harris is back inside his 10. Last punt went over 60. This one looks like it goes even further down inside the 5. Harris takes it. Oh, and he is hit hard. Out of bounds. Coming in.
Tanner Green.
Tanner Green in there. 61-yard punt, so not quite as much, but still. Julian's punted twice, and they've both gone over 60, and there's an injured Edmonton Elk player down in the field. Scott Hutter, a safety, and then mostly on special teams, is the injured Edmonton player.
Yeah, Scott's a 5th-year player from Wilfrid Laurier. mainly doing this for him right now. He just kind of caught, turf monster caught him. Oh no, that looks like ACL on the right knee there for sure. But boy, you don't want to wish that upon anybody. Ochabong, first off, Sam is gone, and now that looks like a non-contact injury. Foot got caught in the turf, and he's grabbing his right knee. Right, ACL is in the front. It's not a good sign.
Two great collegiate careers at Wilfrid Laurier, Achimpong and Hutter.
Right, that's what's going on.
Both
Put that
established CFL
away.
veterans now, but Hutter down on the field, and Achimpong injured earlier to start this game. We're late in the first quarter now. It's an 8-3 Red Black lead, but all the attention on Scott Hutter right now as he gets up, but will need some help to get off the field.
Yeah, you can do that with Hutter, his size, but Sam Achimpong, no, you need a cart to get him off.
Here's Trey Ford. Mentioned started after they started 0-8, and then they lost to Winnipeg after a great comeback by Drew Brown and the Bombers when they were down 3 touchdowns. And then the next week on the road with Ford starting, the Elks did win and ended up with only 4 wins on the season. 1st and 10 from the Ottawa 18 for Drew Brown, who steps up, throws, and it's intercepted inside the Ottawa 40. Coming in to get it is Kai Gray.
I think Kai Gray got tagged with a defensive pass interference on the last series, unjustifiably, but they saw it that way and called it. And here, Drew Brown, I think he makes a poor decision. He's got his eyes downfield. That's fine. Ball sailed on him. He wasn't in sync with his body there moving. He could have pulled it down. I think could have walked for a first down, but he decided to chunk it. And Kai Gray says, thank you. Trying to find Pimpleton. He overthrows it. And we're going to Kai Gray with his 2nd interception.
And Trey Ford is back at quarterback. They scrimmage from the Ottawa 39 quickly. Off to the right for Gino Lewis, and he has that one down around the 36. So McLeod Bethel Thompson got the start, got a few series, and this is the 2nd straight series now for Trey Ford, as mentioned. Had not played at all this season until tonight.
Yeah, and a lot of speculation, certainly from our team and covering this league, that we'd see Trey Ford in what capacity. And so far in the first quarter, we've seen him twice. Good field position. We kids got.
Pick up 4. 2nd and 6. Pressure coming. Ford takes off. Tries to and stays on his feet as he gets it down. It's still shy of a first down, around the 31-32. So it'll be a 3rd and short coming up here. Interesting decision coming up for Jarius Jackson.
Looks like they're sending out the kicking.
And they are indeed looking to see if they can put 3 more on the board.
Yeah, we know Trey Ford can do this, and he just ran out of room last year. 85 carries, 771 yards rushing, and 3 TDs. One of the most electrifying young players we saw on the field in 2023. See if he can break out tonight and be productive for the Elks, getting his opportunity here early.
So late in this first quarter, Boris Beatty is on. He is 1 for 1 from 34 yards. This will be a 39-yard attempt for the veteran, Beatty, to make it a 2-point game. Up and through it goes, heading into that east end zone. Edmonton Elks, the quarter ends with a score by Edmonton. They are still down. It was a fast start by the Red Blacks. They took the opening kickoff. They marched it down the field. All passing plays until the final one and the touchdown run by Rock Armstead. 8-6 the score through the first 15, Ottawa. Back at TD Place in Friday Night Football, the Red Blacks lead by 2. Here's a look at the first quarter numbers, Matt.
Not very impressive if you're looking at the Elks side of the ledger, but they were gifted 6 points with a couple of, I think, miscues by the Red Blacks, which pushed them in good field position, which was a big point of emphasis for Jarius Jackson. First game as a head coach, taking over, said, we want to concentrate on starting field position. That was gifted to him by the Red Blacks, counted for their 6 points. Other than that, it was Drew Brown and a great drive. Since then, Edmonton's defense has kind of figured it out.
Yeah, they found the end zone quickly. Ottawa did. Trey Ford got a couple of series. We'll be curious to see how the quarterbacks are managed from here on. McLeod Bethel Thompson started, and there is Jarius Jackson.
We know it's going to be Drew Brown for the Redblacks, just not sure about the other side.
He threw the interception last time around to Kai Gray, leading to an Edmonton field goal. Here's Braylon Addison with his first carry of this game.
I just think this is one of those situations about an athlete and how much he brings to the table. And Braylon Addison is one of those guys that did this in high school, and he was just tremendous at toting a rock, and it's fun to watch. 60 rushes, 348 yards over the course of his career, and a touchdown. He's a multifaceted receiver / running back, played quarterback in high school as well.
In one catch for 7 yards earlier on that touchdown drive by Ottawa. Back on the ground. It's time to Rock Armstead, who gets it. Well, he didn't need much, just a couple of yards for the first down, right across the Ottawa 50. So the sticks will move for the Redblacks.
Good recipe for success. Mix it up, little tendency breaker, Braylon Addison, and let Rock go get the 3 that he needs. Whether you're blocking it or not, he's going to get that.
Mark it at the 51 of the Redblacks to start this second quarter. And Drew Brown, 3-2 Ottawa, and all 3 victories coming down to the final minute, final seconds. The toss to the right, and that is caught. A rare touch there for the fullback Anthony Gosselin, just his second reception on the season.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. 17th of his career. Tommy Condell, a lot of time for Tommy. Offensive coordinators had tremendous success here, Canadian Football League. And he calls a great game. Very diverse offense, gets a lot of people involved.
Ball is right at midfield for the Redblacks in a 2nd and 6. With time to the right again. It is caught. It's Pimpleton, and it's a first down for Khalil Pimpleton, who gets it down to the 45.
Yeah, that ball's out quickly. I mean, it doesn't look like much, Rod. Flat route, Pimpleton in the flat. Watch how quick he gets out. Boom, get it on him. Pimpleton knows what to do with it after that. We've seen that in his short period of time with the Redblacks. Drew Brown and him settling in quite nicely.
He had a good training camp and didn't start the season. Got introduced to the CFL regular season play last week in Edmonton. 4 catches, couple of really big ones too. Little toss inside, cutting it back is Hardy. Justin Hardy gets it down to the 41. This is what Pimpleton did last week. 2 big plays in particular, Matty, but the speed that he showed on his touchdown catch was really remarkable.
Yeah, it was one of those, who is this guy? That was the 29-yarder to set things up at the end of the football game. This was the drag that goes for 70 and outruns angles, and everybody's going like, who is this guy? Well, we know who he is now. Central Michigan finest. Comes from Muskegon, Michigan.
2nd and 6 now from the 42 of the Elks. Brown, time again, and no, that one falls incomplete. They went right back to Pimpleton. Luchez Purifoy is there.
Beautiful timing by the veteran. Yeah, just Luchez Purifoy just timed that up nicely. Reading the mail, breaking on it. Perfect timing. Here we go, another shot at Lewis Ward.
He was 1 for 2 on the night. Missed his last one, heading the other way when it took a sudden turn to the right.
Yeah, so it's Peter Ajay, their deep snapper, Richard Leone, their holder. So that's the battery that's worked so well for the Redblacks. Ajay, 3rd-year player from Queens.
Ottawa is requesting a challenge. They believe there should have been pass interference on the previous play. The play will be reviewed.
Luchez Purifoy had the coverage on Khalil Pimpleton, and that has led to a challenge flag being thrown by Bob Dice. So the command center is up for a review of this one. We'll be back.
Step into the action with CFL Game Zone. Play games, win prizes, and connect with fans from across the world.
Command center's deciding whether Edmonton and Lucius Purifoy interfered with Khalil Pimpleton. Have another couple of looks at this, Matty.
Yeah, bang, bang play. Lucius Purifoy, 0 right near breaks on the ball. I think he arrives there with great timing. Pimpleton goes straight to the ground because Purifoy just runs him over. I think it's just excellent timing.
At game speed, it looks like he arrived at just the right time. Here's the decision by the command center.
Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. There is no pass interference. Ottawa loses their timeout and their challenge.
And I know,
third down.
As announced by Ben Major, Matty, I know the CFL is trying not to officiate the game that way by breaking it down in slow-mo and saying, in a split second, did he touch him before the ball arrived?
Even in slow motion, that looked like a clean play, but very close. Not a bad challenge from Bobby Dice. Get a first down there, knock on the door, put 7 on as opposed to a possible 3.
Well, here is a possible 3 right through. It is reality for Lewis Ward, is 2 for 3 in the night. That one from 48 yards away. So 5 for 5 last week and 2 for 3 tonight as they increased the lead to 11-6. So after a couple of possessions led by Trey Ford, McLeod Bethel Thompson, who started this game at quarterback, is back in at QB for Edmonton.
And herein lies the problem when you're switching quarterbacks like this, Rod, is a rhythm. And oftentimes, you know, it's just one throw that'll set a quarterback into a rhythm and look out. It's lights out from that point forward. And right now, neither one of these quarterbacks has found a rhythm. And I wouldn't like being tapped on the shoulder every 2 series and say, have a seat.
From the Edmonton 40, Bethel Thompson throws. It is caught. Reaching up is Gino Lewis, who is wrestled out of bounds.
That's what McLeod Bethel Thompson, MBT, does well. He just throws the ball with strength and timing and accuracy.
Now, this is Jarius Jackson's first game as head coach, and that's the first time we saw Trey Ford come into. So people might be linking those 2 events together, but it is Bethel Thompson. There's Ford. Yep. Little clap for the completion as it picks up a first down, too.
Yin and yang. Oftentimes we see it with a power back and a scat back, so to speak. And you know, why not with the quarterbacks? Mix it up. Keep the defense on the toes.
Javon Lake, the running back, the fake to him. Darius Pickett nearly got to Bethel Thompson, who throws it off to the right, and it is caught. Another great catch by Hergy Mayala, who's really having a career renaissance with the Edmonton Elks.
Well, this throw is just unreal, and the catch is in traffic, but the throw is just ridiculous. Watch right here. He's going to move down here, and he's going to work back to the football, and he has to because that window is closing quickly. Heard watch. 4 guys converging. Ball's thrown right over the top, and the 2 underneath and the 2 over the top are closing fast. Heck of a catch.
He had a great touchdown catch last week against Ottawa. On the ground, Javon Lake, the ball carrier, and Bryce Carter, their defensive end, comes in and tackles him for a loss.
What about this catch last week? Just unbelievable. And just solid game, doing it, you know, run work underneath, picking up hard first downs, and then showing off, getting a little yak for you. And this play is what I'm talking about. That was sticky hands right there.
Beautiful pass by Bethel Thompson, too. 2nd and 12 after that loss. Setting up a screen. Curley gets inside the 40 before he goes down. Damon Webb in on the tackle. So not enough for a first down after that loss of a couple of yards on first down. It's about 3 yards shy right now for Edmonton inside the Ottawa 40.
A lot of catches for Curley this year. 31 coming into this ball game. Not a lot of yards, 292, but he showed you what he usually gets there. There's a lot of yak for you, and not enough on that one. Bringing out the big boy, or Speedy. See if he can handle this directional wind, because there's a couple of wind tunnels over there that affected Lewis Ward on his attempt from about this distance, and now Boris Beatty, see if he has a crack at it.
Sure did look that way. The crazy turn Ward's tried. So that was 45 yards away for Beatty, who's 2 for 2. And this one goes off to the right. So there is a wind gusting there. Tobias Harris takes it out, gets a block on Tanner Green, and he tries to turn the corner and head up, and he's still in. And a good return and a flag coming down right at the point where he heads out of bounds. But without Devontae Dedmon, Tobias Harris is making sure nothing is lost in the return game. He had a big punt return last week at 35 yards, and that on a missed field goal. Brings it way out for Ottawa with a flag.
Yeah, so Beatty didn't learn from Lewis Ward's miss in this direction, and the ball was pushed, and then it was a big return by Tobias Harris, and you're looking at him right here. Excuse me, he's right there, folks, coming in. He cuts Malden low. He can't do that on these plays. Boyko gets the tackle, forces Harris out of bounds.
54-yard line, first
You don't
down
see
for
that
Ottawa.
very often, but Jake Julian just trying to make something happen and take a big boy out of the mix. And that flagged.
And Jake Julian, of course, the punter, but the holder on that play for Beatty, who missed that 45-yard try wide to the right, and Harris had a big return. Tack on the penalty yards. They're in the Edmonton zone. They'll start at the Elks 54 for Drew Brown and the Red Blacks, taking the handoff and swinging it out there to Pimpleton, who cannot elude the grasp of Derek Moncrief on the tackle.
Moncrief just playing that play perfectly. Walled off a potential blocker, made the tackle for no gain. Forced in second and long. See if Drew Brown can convert here. Hadn't seen many of these today.
11-6, the Elks lead midway through the second quarter. Their first possession went all the way down the field for a touchdown. Offense has stalled a bit more since then. Four-man rush. Brown getting chased, throws on the move and deep, and it is picked off. Darius Bratton coming across. The second time Brown has been intercepted in this game. Edmonton football deep in their zone.
A deep ball undercut by Bratton for his second of the season, third of his career. And we've seen Brown try to force the issue here a couple times. The first half it's counted.
Edmonton down, but they have the football. Drew Brown came into this game, Matty, having thrown 2 interceptions until now, but he's thrown 2 today.
Yeah, forcing the issue a little bit, trying to figure the game out, like I said, on the fly in front of our eyes. And here the ball just kind of hangs on him. And Darius Bratton, second-year player from Virginia, gets his second of the season, third of his career. He's trying to find Ackland. Ball just hangs on him a little bit. I thought he had room to run, possibly kick a field goal, but he chose to give it up.
And that one nearly caught, just in and out of the hands of the intended target, Curly Gittins Jr. Tobias Harris is there.
Like
so second down coming up.
I'd just like to be on his cardio routine, throughout the week. Returns, field goal returns, punt returns, kickoff returns, and you got to cover some of the fastest guys in the league. Run all over the football field. Tobias Harris doing a nice job showing you what it's all about.
He came in, Matty, as a returner last year, but they've had a lot of injuries in the secondary. Brandon Dandridge, who apparently is close to coming back. Elijah McGee, too. So, yeah, Harris is getting his chance in the secondary, too. It's a 2nd and 10. Edmonton 14. Pressure. Malden couldn't get him. Bethel Thompson gets rid of it. It's caught by Geno Lewis for a first down up across the 25.
Yeah. Pudge Rodriguez is putting his single finger down, asking for the heater as he's moving to his left. McLeod Bethel Thompson, he can't get it up on the run, so he kind of sets his feet, throws a dart, and Geno strong hands it and picks up a first down. Critical, getting out of their own end. Beautiful.
Great hands of Geno Lewis, a gain of 13, and Bethel Thompson eluding the pressure there by Lorenzo Malden. So he throws it off to Dylan Mitchell. And Sherrod Baltimore's there as Mitchell has to do some work just to get back to the line of scrimmage. Geno Lewis, the great years we saw when he was with the Montreal Alouettes, and the yardage he's racked up so far in his career. This is the most receiving yards by active players, just behind Tavares Daniels.
Something about his hands. They just look massive, like Andy Fantuz. Just these guys just clamp onto the ball don't have a chance. You saw it on that last play. Good heads-up play by Sherrod Baltimore in space to the field side corner, doing his job, forcing a 2nd and 10.
He was 36 yards receiving tonight, 89 last week. Another catch there, and that is Arkell Smith, and falling down. Smith had 1 catch for 10 yards and a touchdown last week at Commonwealth.
Yeah, make it count, right? And Smith makes Easy catch, so difficult on this one. Looks like he lost his footing, went to a knee. McLeod Bethel-Thompson puts this right on the money. Look, he already knows where he's going with football. When you're playing a position of quarterback and you just can't wait for the ball to get in your hands, you get to this level, experience, you know where you're going with the football. It's just look the defense off as best you can and deliver the mail, and that time he did.
In his first year to Central Missouri, Arkell Smith. So that gain up to the 40 now. 1st and 10. And going nowhere, going backwards. Damon Webb coming in.
Yeah, like they read their mail, knew that the fly sweep was coming, misdirection play, and Damon Webb's coming from the backside. You can't get leverage on him. He's in the backfield before they know it. And it's just a good-looking play. Coming right to left, there he is. He just beat the receiver, number 85, Cobb. Cobb didn't have a chance. He's, wait a minute, that's my guy.
So Javon Leake tackled for a loss of 5. 2nd and 15, Edmonton 35. A draw. And that's Leake. He gets some of it back up across the 40. For Kevin Brown, excuse me.
I think that's a good position for McLeod Bethel-Thompson, the veteran, deep in your own end. Get a couple first downs, draw. Try to get field position with the big leg of Jake Julian, making up for his low block in the last series. Wouldn't want to put Trey Ford down there and wet behind his ears, just getting started in 2024. So good call, series. Doesn't look like much for the Elks, but that was important.
Got them some space, and Jake Julian can often make up the difference. He's had a couple of punts over 60 yards. Standing inside his 30. Back there to get that. Tobias Harris. Good special teams coverage. Plamondon and Woodley Apollon. There's Almondo Sewell back in Edmonton and back as their defensive line coach. Let's go down to Claire.
Yeah, Rod, and CFL fans, without a doubt, know Almondo Sewell, because for 12 seasons in the CFL, he had 69 sacks, but you're going to have to get more comfortable hearing Coach Sewell, as earlier this week he was promoted to Edmonton's defensive line coach. Now, I asked him when he got interested in coaching. He admitted he never was. It was only until this offseason that former head coach Chris Jones called him, asked if he wanted to come to camp, and then he really got the bug. He says, I love coaching because I'm living my career out through these guys now. But he said he misses it every day, and Coach Jackson joked that the team has to be careful because if Sewell gets close to a jersey, he might throw it on at some point. He wants to play that badly.
What a great career, Claire. Obviously with Edmonton, won a Grey Cup in 2015. Also with Montreal with the Alouettes up until last year, and that's how it ended. Another championship. Almondo Sewell. And there's another moment in Ottawa that he will never forget as a player when he was with the Alouettes, Matty. You remember this? Running back Almondo Sewell. Give it to the big man.
Yes, never go wrong. Give it to 90. Let him go get some.
It was back nearly 3 years ago. Different sort of highlight. They, the linemen, love to get the ball, too. 3-minute warning until the half. The Red Blacks lead.
Giant halftime coming up here in the CFL on TSN. But first things first, Lapo needs to wear a tie. Head over to his X profile, and you can vote on a better coach's playbook.
Well, whoever wants more, but we're getting pretty close to it, and it's going to be
Just get a tie on Lapo.
Got to wear a tie, Coach. Kate the panel coming up at the half. Oh. Yeah, their crowd's picking up. We have a little intruder running around on the field, so that's the explanation for the little delay. 2:54 in the clock.
He's running in jeans, and it's about 30 degrees. Gave up at the 50. He got tracked down in the end zone.
And of course, we don't show you, so we can discourage this kind of behavior.
Right.
There's Noah Curtis.
I just remember Dick Butkus just slamming a guy.
Oh, it's a few times, yeah.
I remember in Winnipeg, the entire defensive secondary just mauled a guy that decided to go out there and have a good time. And secondary for the Bombers had nothing to do with that.
If fans out for a good time here at TD Place, just stay off the field till the end of the game. Here we go. Resuming play. 2nd and 8, Ottawa 29. Brown. It's complete. That's caught by Addison. Second catch for him in this game.
Late flag there, Ryan.
No, late flag does come out.
Not sure. That was a dart from Drew Brown. Very confident throw. You can see the difference. The interception to that one.
Was it the hit on Addison after he caught the ball?
Watch what I'm talking about. Just
major foul, Edmonton number 0. We're going to go up 15 yards from the end of the play. It's going to be first down for Ottawa.
Yeah,
0-on-0.
Yeah, Purefoy trying to make a tackle. He's trying to get low, and then all of a sudden Addison's lowering his helmet, and they collide, and now just the defender's going to get slapped in the hand for it.
Veteran Luchez Purefoy, who used to play for the Ottawa REDBLACKS a few years ago.
I just don't know how you can avoid that, you know.
At the 51 of Edmonton for Drew Brown and a first down. To the right, open receiver and out of bounds. And it's Justin Hardy, their top receiver so far this season. Another first down.
Another confident throw by Drew Brown on timing to one of my favorite receivers in the league, Hardy. Just got a double pattern at once there. I'd like to get rid of that if you're a quarterback coach, offensive coordinator. But it was a well-thrown football, timing to one of his favorite targets, Justin Hardy.
With a touchdown last week and a great effort after the catch, too, to get into the end zone.
3 receivers went over 100 yards for the REDBLACKS.
And Hardy there, too, yeah. Big day. Dominic Rhymes, too, and mentioning Pimpleton, but Hardy, he's been the go-to more than any others, and right back for another first down, and still 2.5 minutes to go till halftime.
Yeah, you know, Rod, you look at these receiving corps, there's 3 guys that made it happen, went over the 100-yard mark last week. Pimpleton with 4 catches. Rhymes had 3 more to get there, and then 5 for Hardy. I'd love to play with this receiving corps, Edmonton's.
Here we go. The 17 on the run, getting rid of it. And that is close. It is caught. It is caught by Ackland. Are they calling it a catch? Yes, they are.
Boy, he was like...
Jalen Ackland just keeping a foot in bounds.
He was like Gumby. If I can make reference to Gumby or Stretch Old Man, it was like he got as long as he possibly could. See if he possesses the ball through the catch. Watch his feet, watch his feet.
That toe, is that toe still down?
This toe drag swag is enough there. I think, yeah.
That is so close. They call it a catch.
Oh, man, then he tucks it. I think it's good.
2nd and 4, Edmonton 11. Brown takes off inside the 5. Niles Morgan takes him down, but it is a first down, a 1st and goal coming up here for Ottawa late in the first half.
Oh, man, he was so close. Niles Morgan undercutted offensive lineman coming up on him to get to the 2nd level. And Drew Brown trying to set it up. There's the old lineman. Niles Morgan says, get out of my face. I got work to do. That's up play by the middle linebacker, 4th-year player from Notre Dame. Excuse me.
1st and goal at the Edmonton 4. REDBLACKS up by 5 and looking for more here. Brown taking the handoff, throws into the end zone. No! Aiming for Rhymes and just coming across at the last second is Marcus Lewis.
That ball kind of hangs a little bit. I think we're right here. Ball's out. It's a pretty ball. Off his back foot. And then just outstretched arm. That's just a heck of a play.
Just enough to knock it
Marcus
away.
Lewis.
By Lewis.
Player from Maryland. Extending. Talk about last play. Ackland making a sweet catch on the sideline. That was a stretch and a fingertip knockdown. Saving, taking points off the board possibly.
2nd and goal. Quickly. Off the fingertips. Right at the end zone for Hardy. So 3rd down coming up. They're at the 4.
This drives you crazy. Knocking at the door. You got 2 chances. Great play by the defense, and then you can't connect here. Coming out of his break. Quarterback's going to say it's a little high. Could have got it a little lower, make it catchable. Right off the fingertips, threw it right through his fingers. Yeah, those are the ones that drive you crazy. Lose sleep over those.
So Lewis Ward comes on. He'll try an 11-yard field goal. that one through. So another one. Lewis Ward making it a 14-6 game. Well, the 152nd edition of the Open Championship going on at Royal Troon, Scotland. You can catch the third round tomorrow morning, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN. How about Ireland's Shane Lowry leading the way at 7 under par, shot a 69 today. Top Canadian Corey Connors, he's at 1 under par. Tiger Woods not making the cut.
Nor did Rory McIlroy. You hit that ball out of bounds. Yeah, you hit that ball out of bounds there, forget about it. It's just bogey, double, maybe even a triple.
Edmonton ball, the screen to Brown. Kevin Brown has a lot of room, flags out. He's down to the Ottawa 30 just inside, but a flag back at midfield.
Yeah, Eugene Lewis, I can get caught for a legal block. He knew it. Kevin Brown was rolling too. Good to see him involved in the passing game. Get him in space, he'll make you pay.
After yards were gained, holding Edmonton number 87. It's a 10-yard penalty, but it is a first down for Edmonton.
So after that, the yardage was gained enough for a first down by Kevin Brown.
Yes. That's kind of getting pulled over by the police right here, you know. It's like, oh man, I'm gonna get a ticket. Then he just gives you a warning. And it's like, oh, okay. I can take a deep breath. There's a hold right there, 87 on Lamont.
So they do put the ball down at the 42. 1.5 minutes to go till halftime. An 8-point difference right now after that second Ward field goal made it 14-6. McLeod Bethel Thompson. The pump fake and a short pass there back to Brown. Does it again, and he is tackled by Davion Taylor just shy of midfield, and looks to be enough for another Edmonton first down.
This is like a sixth sense here. I don't know how McLeod Bethel Thompson completes this ball. You just know who your receivers are. He's not even looking at him. He's just pocket collapse. Oh, there it is. He's got people choking you out. Malden body slamming them, and he's completing balls out of the backfield. Oh, my goodness. Want to play quarterback? Think you're tough enough? Step up to the plate. McLeod Bethel Thompson, make it look easy.
With pressure coming, he does aim for Arkell Smith, and that's a bit behind, so incomplete. Second down, Edmonton 53, 1:07 on the clock.
Yeah, it's just a thing, Rod. You said it, pressure's coming. It's 2 plays in a row, getting the veteran quarterback uncomfortable, knowing where he's going to be on that spot. Now, that's Trey Ford, completely different story. They choose to do 4-man pressure, but 2nd and 10, advantage REDBLACKS here. Got to get out the field. Can't let this drive continue and let the REDBLACKS score late in this first half. Excuse me, the Elks score in the first half here. Get back in the ball game.
We saw Trey Ford there. We saw him earlier, first quarter, for a couple of possessions. With the blitz coming, they pick it up, the throw, and it is caught by Dylan Mitchell inside the Ottawa 40.
Well, it's a lot of work on a dig route to complete this, to move the sticks and keep the drive alive. Top of the screen, you're going to run a little dig route, go down about 16 to 18 yards, come flat across the middle. You don't want to drift. Keep coming. Ball's there on the money. Dylan Mitchell, big time catch and throw. Quarterback to receiver.
Their leading receiver coming into this game. So Edmonton gets closer. And a 1st and 10 at the Ottawa 39. 45 seconds and counting. That one is caught. Gittins, but nowhere to go. Backwards, back to the 45, so a completed pass for a loss.
Yeah, Bryce Carter making the tackle, applying the pressure, disrupting the timing of the screen. You've got Michael Wakefield in the backfield, and he's going to pressure McLeod Bethel Thompson, and back's going to be covered like a glove, and Bryce Carter coming off making the tackle. Oh yeah, Taylor's here too, coming hard off the edge.
Big loss too when you consider field goal range. So throwing here after the loss of 6, Arkell Smith trying to make the most of it and at least get them closer, and he does, down to the 35, so that makes a bit of a difference. A 3rd down coming up, but closer for Boris Beatty.
No question. And we saw Boris and Lewis Ward have troubles in this direction, kicking long field goals, moving late on them hard to the right, and that'll make it a little more easy for big foot of Boris Beatty. And figure it out here. That's a heck of a play. Doesn't look like much, but that puts him in a decent opportunity here for a 42-yard run.
42-yard try. Both kickers are 2 for 3. Both misses came heading this end, and both times to the right. with a bit of a breeze. So here's Beatty again. Starts off straight, and it's enough to get through. Hugs it inside. Third field goal of the night for Boris Beatty. And that is it for the first half as Edmonton gets back to within 5 points. What the Ottawa defense has been doing here.
Yeah, Rod, and, you know, holding Edmonton to 3 field goals. Last week it was a shootout. This week, not so much.
So the Red Blacks do lead. Speaking of that Ottawa defense, here's Claire now with Cleon Lang.
Cleon, when you've seen your team put a lot of pressure on both of the quarterbacks, what's working well for your defense?
Just our hustle. The defensive line is working well. Linebackers are working well. Secondary, we're just playing complementary football right now, and that's what we need to do.
We've seen Trey Ford. We've also seen McLeod Bethel-Thompson. What's it like to face 2 quarterbacks?
You know, we just got to keep our focus. It doesn't really matter what they do. It's what we do. So we just got to control what we can control and just keep after the quarterback all day.
Thank you, Cleon.
Thank you.
All right, Kate, let's send it back to you.
Alongside Enoch Mwamba, David Sanchez, Jim Barker, we have ourselves a 14-9 football game at the half. And the biggest story coming into this one were the changes, obviously, with the Edmonton Elks and how they were going to proceed moving forward with these 2 quarterbacks. We saw Trey Ford, Ches, for the first time in 2024. A couple of series, you don't really get a read on him, but I think it's clear, especially in that second quarter, that MBT is still their starting QB.
Yeah, and you look at how they're proceeding with this, and Jarius Jackson is a quarterback. He was a quarterback at Notre Dame University. He was a quarterback in the NFL and the CFL. He understands the position. He's coached this league for a long time. He doesn't want to take out it. It's clear that Macbeth is their quarterback. But when they're putting Trey in the game, they're putting Trey in because they know that he could possibly get a spark. But you don't want to take it and bring in Trey when McLeod is struggling. But you don't want to take him, put in Trey when McLeod is hot. So they're just trying to find the perfect times in the game within there. Because McLeod was 2 for 3 for what? 2 for 3 for 12 yards. So he wasn't struggling. He threw the ball 3 times, but they hadn't gotten anything going. They're just trying to find a time where you can insert Trey into the game where he can get some touches without taking away with the rhythm of the cloud and also not creating controversy by putting him in where people think it's a demotion.
Timing of the game is important. You got to figure out what's the best time to put in Trey Ford. Absolutely, Ches, like you're talking about. If you got McLeod Bethel-Thompson who's here starting to get a feel for the game, you don't want to disrupt his flow. And so, to me, there's more to it than just that. These decisions are huge, obviously, with regards to the timing, but it's more than that. I practice. You got to commit a good amount at a time for Trey Ford to also get a good enough feel for the offense and get chemistry built for with the receivers. So it is important. There's a lot that goes into this, and right now, Jarius Jackson's got to understand now, when am I going to put Trey Ford in? How much practice am I going to commit to him even at practice? It is going to be a lot going forward, but they're in a pickle right now.
Well, let me tell you something. It's a 5-point game because of that Edmonton defense. After Drew Brown threw for 450 last week, they're getting pressure on the edges. Here, the right tackle Jacob Ruby gets beat. Again, it's not a sack, but it's a pressure. And then over here, the left tackle, Dino Boyd, gets beat by newcomer Noah Taylor. Okay, that forces him to have to move, and he gets a little antsy in the pocket. And you're going to see Drew Brown here. He's going to step up as he should. He's felt the pressure, and he's going to throw the interception to Kai Gray. So those kind of things, that kind of pressure by Edmonton, the secondary playing a little tighter has kept them in this game. We got a 5-point game.
2 big plays from Gray and Bratton, that boundary side, young, talented guys make big plays. That was key in the first half.
And you know what? We can debate the quarterback all we want, but at the end of the day, I mean, if this defense doesn't play well, and they did. They played a lot better in that first half, so we'll see what they do in the second. Paul LaPolice standing by. It's Coach's Playbook right after this. Second half of our doubleheader coming up this evening. Winnipeg taking on Saskatchewan. Tyrell Ford, it's a family affair on this show tonight, coming off a massive game. It was a home win over Calgary last week. And Zach Collaros, 261 passing yards shy of becoming the 20th player to reach 30K for his career. Can't wait for that one. And with more on their new star, let's head over to Paul LaPolice for Coach's Playbook.
Ontario, Pokey Wilson last week had an unbelievable game. He had 16 targets. Look at these numbers: 13 catches, 201 yards, 1 TD. I talked to his receiver coach this week, Kevin Burgoyne. I said, what is he great at? He said 2 things: his hand-eye coordination. He's got deceptive speed. Watch this. A lot of these behind the line of scrimmage, he's quick. Gets this ball on the block on the outside. They make a couple of good blocks. Watch, he makes a defender miss right there. This is a ball behind the line of scrimmage, gets a 20-yard gain. I love this one. He's running across on a dig. He's actually putting his glove back on so he can make this catch. That's crazy. He has great high hands to make this play. Watch it from this angle. This is what you need: hand-eye coordination. The ball's up high. His eyes are up high. That's what you want from your receivers. Next thing, body control. He breaks out for the comeback, but the ball is pushed to his left. Not many receivers can change their direction and make that catch, so that's outstanding body control. This is his 1 touchdown. He runs to the back of the end zone. And again, concentration outstanding. Kobe Williams gets the PI, but he does not care about the PI. He survives contact, sees it. Little celebration right there. This is my favorite play. Runs by with speed, runs by Richardson, high hands to the football, makes this catch, and he actually has to catch this off his shoulders. This is an amazing at the end of the game in the 4th quarter. Once again, good eye angles and catches it off his shoulder to make the play. So I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities tonight. The Bombers got to be careful, though, because the Riders lead the CFL in takeaways as well as interceptions. Roland Milligan, they got to stay away from. Hey, look at this guy. Look, hand-eye coordination, Kate. Look at his eyes. Don't break the plane of the ball. Outstanding. That's what it is. Coach's playbook. Look at the ball, everybody. We good?
And by the way, Pokey Wilson does come from Pokemon, and he did have 14 targets but 13 catches. He just missed the 1 Lapo, and we know what they say in Pokemon. You got to catch them all.
Do they say that in Pokemon?
CFL football game is up for grabs. It's Friday night football tonight.
Under a beautiful full moon over the nation's capital, this beautiful Friday night in Ottawa. Halftime stats with the Red Blacks leading by 5. And, you know, turnover is a big part of this. The 2 picks that are thrown by Drew Brown that set up some Edmonton points. But here now is Claire Hanna with the safety for Edmonton, Luches Purifoy.
Luches, one of the things your team wanted to do this week was limit Drew Brown. How would you evaluate how you've been doing that?
We're doing a good job, man. We just got to get out the field a little bit more. Get out the field and get our quarterback the ball as much as we can. Right now we're doing a good job of that. The young guys coming along. Stepped up from last week for sure.
Jarius Jackson would have given you his first halftime speech as head coach. What was his message?
Don't bend, don't break. Go out here and win the game and go 1-0.
Thank you, Luches.
No problem.
The Elks want the ball to start the second half from the west end zone. And the kickoff, it's taken by Javon Leake inside the 20. Down by 5 to start this second half, Edmonton. They'll start from just shy of their 35 for McLeod. Bethel Thompson, Maddie, who took a bit of a beating at the hands of that Ottawa defense.
Yeah, and you know but he made that throw right there. So it's oftentimes ugly on the wrong end, you know, and he made that throw as well, getting help from his receivers. 4 of 11 on second down conversions. So it's not a game for Nathan Miles. No matter what style of quarterback you are, you're going to get touched up.
And he starts the second half and on a running play too for Kevin Brown, tackled there by Darius Pickett. Bethel Thompson, though, 14 of 17 for 112 yards, no touchdowns, no picks.
Yeah, 4 of 11 on second down conversions. You know, you heard Luches Purifoy talk to our Claire Hanna on the sidelines, and you know, it's one of those situations where he said, yeah, we got to get the ball to our quarterbacks more often, and therein lies their problem. They got to do something with it when they get it. Convert on second downs.
No gain before. Brown, 2nd and 10. And a pump fake. He pulls it down, and he gets taken down. 58, Bryce Carter coming in. Ottawa's sack leader in 2023. And gets the heat there on Bethel Thompson.
Yeah, Bryce Carter, you know, he's just money. Let's see if we can find him. I believe he's right down here at the bottom of your screen. Yeah, he is. He's on Boyko, and he's working hard. Boyko's got him in good shape, and then once the quarterback climbs the pocket, Bryce Carter comes off and makes an easy sack.
So Jake Julian has a couple of booming punts in this game, standing inside his 20. They could use another one of those for Tobias Harris. Back at the red-black 20, running off to the right. Well-placed punt. And Harris, not much to work with, does get it up across the 30. So back comes Drew Brown. Positives, Matty, notable negatives with those 2 interceptions in the first half.
Yeah, I got a little greedy, you know, and trying to get too much. He got some help from his receivers in the first half. He was 8 of 13 on second down conversions, a lot better than McLeod Bethel Thompson, probably the difference in the game. But those turnovers turned into 6 points for the Elks. There's one of them there. I think he could have pulled that down, put themselves at least in a position to make 3, took points off the board with that decision. You can make those mistakes as a young quarterback.
So Brown handing off. That's Braylon Addison trying to fight off a tackle, gets it up to about the 32. Niles Morgan, the tackles leader for that Edmonton defense. The veteran takes him down.
Yeah, he gave me the finger wave. And no.
The Mutombo?
Yeah, the Mutombo, right there. He did. Talked to Miles on Wednesday, and what a treat. This guy understands the importance of veteran leadership on a young defense, and bringing in Moncrief and Oakman, he said, was just what the doctor ordered.
A couple of yards, 2nd and 8. Ottawa 33. First possession of the second half. Redblacks under pressure, just throwing it away.
Good decision. Good decision. Nothing there. Throw it away. Uh-oh. Late flag. Something's going on.
Late flag in the red-black backfield.
Wow, that was like, got to be somebody saying something.
And it came out late.
I thought that ball crossed the line of scrimmage, but...
We've got intentional grounding.
Oh, man.
Ottawa, number 3. It's going to be 3rd down at the 19-yard line.
So lose the down as well, and that distance as they go back to the 19. Yeah, it looked close. All he had to do was get it over the line of scrimmage, but no, didn't quite make it that far. So it pushes them further back, and they still, of course, have to punt.
Another strong leg kicker, Richie Leone, University of Houston, 8-year player. He only averages 47 yards a punt.
Only. 5-time All-Star, starting his career with BC. Drops the ball, gets rid of it alertly. Not a long punt, but lucky to get any punt away at all. And looks like they avoid the no yards as well by the time it is picked up by Javon Leake. But it will be in the Redblacks zone down around their 48. Leone lost the handle. Was able to pick it up, though, and just get rid of it in time. Hurts the average, but it beats the alternative.
Yeah, it does.
Brady Oliveira, Winnipeg Blue Bombers up against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who started 4-0, and Winnipeg started 0-4. Since then, the Bombers have won twice. Saskatchewan lost in BC last week. Interesting first meeting of these dreaded rivals, and that is coming up, part 2 of Friday Night Football from Mosaic Stadium tonight here on TSN. Little play fake, and the throw to Eugene Lewis, who hangs on to that ball stubbornly with DeAndre Lamont fighting him for it.
I don't know who came up with this ball at the end. Boy, that ball was drilled in there and stuck on somebody's
They're still
stomach.
fighting.
Yeah, Lamont and Lewis going at it. Eugene coming up with it, not going to let go until the officials pull him off the pile. Watch this dart going to his right. Oh yeah, he just ripped it there, and then Lamont rolled over and continued to fight, but the damage and the catch had already been awarded, basically, right there.
So Edmonton, 2nd and short now after that pickup by Lewis. Need about a yard. Kevin Brown finds an opening. First down and gets it closer to the 35 for the Elks.
You can almost see him understanding, going, oh, wait a minute, I got the first down here. He looked like he wanted to bounce it and he's headed that way. Then he got north-south. Watch him. He's like, attacks, presses it. And, no, I'm going to go side. No, I got to get the first down. Dips his shoulder and goes and gets it. Sticks will move, and the job is done.
To the Ottawa 36, a 5-point difference.
Look at Jarius Jackson.
In his debut as a head coach, taking over from Chris Jones. Here's a deep look to the end zone. Bethel Thompson looking for Dylan Mitchell, just a bit too far. Nearly had him. And that would have put Edmonton in the lead.
Yeah, and we saw a close connection between Brown and Pimpleton that just was out of the reach of his receiver, and here we see it in the second half. Yeah, I don't know if you can Superman on that, get airborne, but we'll never know. Yeah, that was tough, buddy. Quarterback, you want to throw a little more catchable ball, but that was out early, and he just couldn't go get it.
Superman, the nickname of G. Roy Simon, who's taken over as the general manager. They took one deep shot, now they're taking another one. Little fight for it there. Gino Lewis wants a call on Lamont, so they're fighting again, and that one just goes down, no flag.
Yeah, and I've been impressed with Lamont. You know, really having to shoulder a lot of responsibilities on that back end. Second-year player from Illinois State, and well, he uses the sideline to his advantage here, and he just kind of washes Eugene out of the way, and he's got great position. If anything, that would have been offensive pass interference. I thought that was a great job by the young corner, making it happen against one of the best in the league.
Boris Beatty, 3 for 4, had one late in the first half to cut it down to a 5-point game from the Ottawa 36. About a 42, 43-yard try for Beatty. Get them back within 2, heading right. Misses right, and taking a knee, the Red Blacks and Tobias Harris to give up 1. 4-point game, and another miss by Beatty, who's missed a couple tonight. Quite the battle, and that set of downs by Lewis and Lamont. Ottawa still leads. Khalil Pimpleton had a great CFL debut last week. This is what he did in college at Central Michigan. He scored 3 touchdowns, Matty, in the span of 5 minutes. A great returner in the MAC. He was a conference all-star, so he had a return, and then a little bit later he had a touchdown catch, so an all-star receiver, and then this a few minutes after. 3 touchdowns in 5 minutes.
Absolutely phenomenal performance, and we're getting to see him, first glimpse of him making it happen here in the CFL as well.
And Ottawa with the football and handing off. Pimpleton standing only 5'8", 170 pounds, and appreciates and has been inspired by other smaller football players.
That's where the motivation comes from. I really, you know, I've been told, you know, I was too small, I was too short, you know, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that because of my size. I watched a lot of professional athletes that were smaller, that were my size when I was growing up. Using that as inspiration and motivation and fuel to my fire to actually, you know, live out my dream.
2nd and 5 now for the Red Blacks. A draw. Armstead, first down. Got it just across the 50, but yeah, Pimpleton might be just, depending on where they spot the ball, I guess, a little bit shy, but there's Pimpleton and his tail of the tape back at Central Michigan.
Yeah, his tail of the tape is what's really fueled him. You know, he just didn't have the measurables, so he worked on his intangibles, and brings a lot of that, and we'll see that by number 83 in black and red. Struck a chord in my heart because being undersized, you know, you always play with a chip on your shoulder, and he's never forgotten where he's come from.
3rd down, Gamble, and they may not have got it. They had to get to the 50. See where they spot this ball. Dustin Crum was in.
I do not think they got there.
Now, the Elks certainly don't think they got there. And they didn't. Where that ball is, this is going to be a turnover on downs.
Yeah, Lucius Purifoy talked to our Clairhan on the sideline, says we need to get the ball back to our quarterbacks. They got the job done on that series.
Another big defensive play for Edmonton. They've had a few on this night. Turnover on downs. They're about to take over inside the Ottawa 50.
Jason Shaver's defense getting it done on a 3rd down short stoppage, getting off the field. Dustin Crum in to do the dirty work, and Morgan and company say, no, sir. And exactly as Lucius Purifoy, free safety for the Elks, mentioned to our Clairhan on the sidelines, got to get the ball to our offense more often. Well done.
Crum denied. Edmonton benefiting from its defense. The offense going to work in the red black zone into the hands of Javon Lee. Took that behind the line of scrimmage, and a good gain for the Elks and a first down.
Love everything about this play, because that's where this guy needs to be, in space, because his speed is unbelievable, and he's right in the backfield right here, coming out in a swing, and it's actually a lateral pass. If this goes over his head, that's not a good thing for the Elks. Spotted pretty good by MBT, and he goes north and south in a hurry, picks up 15.
So he gets it down just inside the 37 of the Red Blacks. Just a 4-point difference. A toss and a sweep. That's Gibbons tries to cut it back inside, and Damon Webb says no. He has him all wrapped up for nothing. In fact, lost yardage there for Edmonton.
Yeah, nicely done by the Red Blacks defense on this case. A lot going on in the backfield, coming across. A little shuffle pass underneath, and nothing doing. Webb says, I'm in your mail.
And a loss of 4 because of it.
Going the wrong way.
Second down and 14. They'd be in long field goal range, trying to get closer here from the Ottawa 41. They're going backwards. Second straight play, they go backward. It's Lorenzo Molden, the sack leader of the CFL 2 years ago, and he picks up the sack there. Molden with number 3 in the season.
Jarius Jackson says no, sending out his punting unit. Molden standing up here at a 2-point. 17 sacks 2 years ago. Defensive Player of the Year. Handed that torch over to Bryce, and sack leader for the Red Blacks last season with 12, and that's because probably he was getting so much attention. Freed up Bryce to do his job.
2 plays took him out of field goal range.
That's what you got to do. That's tit for tat. Both defenses getting the job done here the last 2 series.
Takes points off the board for Edmonton there as Julian's the punt. And it's not about distance this time. We know he's got the leg, trying to get it down inside the 5, but too far, so out of bounds it goes, and a point on the board for the Elks. Pressure on McLeod, Bethel Thompson, Lorenzo Molden, Baron Miles. We're talking about defenses. How about Ottawa's there? Cleon Lang celebrates too. It was 10 years and 1 day ago, July 18th, 2014, the legend Russ Jackson helping the Red Blacks play their first ever game at home. Look, another legend in Tony Gabriel there, and Henry Burris with a big pass here to set them up for the winning field goal. Brett Maher had 6 field goals. They beat the Argos. There's only one player there that night, still with the team, and he joins Claire Hanna.
Thank you very much, Rod. Now, Nigel, we just saw some flashbacks of 10 years ago in 1 day to the very first game here ever at TD Place. What do you remember about that outing?
I remember the crowd is so low crowd. Ottawa just welcomed back the Red Blacks, and that was our first win in TD history, or Red Blacks history.
What was the energy like in the building?
This place is amazing. This place is rocking. And hopefully this year we're going to get back there.
I was going to say, how have you noticed Red Blacks Nation change in your 10 years here?
You know, I've seen ups and downs, but our nation has stayed with us. But that first home win was amazing, the first game here.
Nigel, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you back on the field.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Claire. Nigel Romick out of St. Mary's, and drafted that year in 2014. With them every step of the way, it's caught by Khalil Pimpleton. And a big catch on first down for another first down. Into the Elks zone goes Ottawa after their defense stood strong that time.
Yeah, it's one of the best throws that Drew Brown's being able to make tonight is the corner routes and spotting it there before the receiver's out of his break. And this just falls into the spot beautifully. And we know that this young man in the last couple of games knows what to do with it once he gets the rock in his hands.
Khalil Pimpleton in his second CFL game had the great debut. He's got 5 catches for 56 yards. That one for 23.
Having an off day.
Drew Brown throwing again and is caught and in tight too. Derek Moncrief was right there with Justin Hardy, but Hardy has it at the 40.
He's throwing him open there, Rod. You know, and this is nicely done. Quarterback not putting his receiver. He's going to go out here and he's going this way, but ball's thrown here, so he's got to stop. He throws it out in front of him. That easily could have been picked. He threw it to his back shoulder, and he made the adjustment. Good play on both ends.
Second and short, Edmonton 40. Red Blacks with a field goal lead. That is caught. First down. Dominic Rhymes, the veteran, back in Ottawa this year after some successful years in BC. Started his career with Ottawa.
Yeah. Simple, sit down in the zone, ball put on you, get upfield as quickly as you can. Easy first down. Yeah, field goal position here. Be smart, 1st and 10. Looks like one-on-one coverage.
Handing off. Still pumping the legs. Is Rock Armstead carrying the pile down to the 22. He just refused to give in.
That looked like the Brady Bunch in Winnipeg right there. Just everybody getting involved. You think he's stymied, but the Temple product, the Owl, just says no. He wants to hoot and holler a little bit longer tonight. And he just keeps trying to get some help from his buddies and moves the sticks. Powerful 10-yard run.
7 carries for 30 and a touchdown he got right in the opening drive of the game. Armstead, biggest run for him on this night, down to the Edmonton 22.
Scrimmage, Rod. Look at that flat across the board there. Something's up.
Loading him up. Here comes the heat. Brown's down, ball's out, and did the Elks have it? Could this be another big play by the Edmonton defense? Still sorting it out. Well, Matty talked about the heat coming, and Brown did not have much time. Still Ottawa football. So they caught a break there, but Niles Morgan and company coming in.
Yeah, right here, and you can see it pretty easy read if a quarterback. You know, you got 7 guys standing in the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball, and DBs are about 7 yards off the receivers across the board. Simple. Got to make a hot adjustment. Brown did not recognize it, hung on to the ball too quick, and was fortunate to just come up with it.
Jason Shivers had been with Chris Jones in Saskatchewan and then Edmonton. And defense really having a bounce-back game after they took some criticism last week against Ottawa.
Talked to Jason Shivers, defensive coordinator.
Ottawa number 64. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still going to be 2nd down.
And, you know, a lot going on with the Edmonton organization right now, but that man's job is trying to get his defense in order very quickly, and he says they're close. Got a lot of young players in the back end, 2nd-year players that are still trying to figure out and learning how to communicate from play to play, series to series, and he's challenging them and continuing to whip them down the road, and he says they're very close, and we're seeing a tightly played football game with some good defense going on, and Jason Shivers got to be happy.
2nd and 20 now after the penalty from the Edmonton 32. Brown, it is caught. It's down to about the 16 for Hardy. Still shy of a first down, but much, much closer for Lewis Ward as the kicking unit will come on to see if they can make it a 6-point game.
Look at Hardy doing his thing. Attack your area of coverage, get deeper than the linebackers, then find the soft spot in the zone coverage, and you saw him do that. Ball was thrown with timing, able to get a good 16, 17 yards there, make it easier for Lewis Ward.
Who is 2 for 3, longest to 48. This much, much closer for the Red Blacks.
Again, this is Peter Ajay and Richie Leone is the battery here. See if they can work this smoothly.
22-yard try. One of the all-time greats in the history of the CFL.
Movement by the Red Blacks on the left side. It's going to take him back 5.
Procedure, Ottawa number 93. It's a 5-yard penalty. We'll replay 3rd down.
Aiden John, one of their defensive linemen, in on special teams, and a procedure call, so they're going to have to do this again, 5 back. Fortunately for them, it goes from 22 to 27.
Yeah.
So still.
Yeah, well, a gimme to, okay, now we got to lock it in.
Well, Lewis Ward, Sean White, Rene Paredes, those 3 in particular, top 3 in terms of percentage in CFL history, all still active. As Ward pumps it through again, and this time it counts.
I can do this with my eyes closed.
Yeah, a lot going on with the Edmonton Elks this past week. Jarius Jackson takes over as head coach, and He did not have that assistant head coach next to his name when he got touched on the shoulder by G. Roy Simon and Rick Lawlisher. That was Jason Shivers, defensive coordinator. He was overlooked.
That's Arkell Smith with a big catch and run and a big first down right off the start of this drive by the Elks.
Yeah, and you need that. Get this offense going, get right back in this football game down by 6. Yeah, Jarius, you know, he says, hey, he's not going to turn it down. He didn't ask questions. He just assumed the role. And Jason Shivers, he knows he's been in this league. He's been there before. And, you know, he was disappointed. But at the end of the day, he's a professional, and he's got his defense working well tonight.
Gain of 16 for Smith. Throwing again is McLeod Bethel Thompson to Eugene Lewis. Lewis down around the 45. So it'll be a 2nd and short coming up as we're in the final seconds. Looks like one play left here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and, you know, Jarius has been in the game a long time, as has his defensive coordinator, Jason Shivers. And both these guys are looking for this opportunity. One man got it, and you're going to get support from the other man. They've been coaching together for a while now.
Final play till quarter time. Bethel Thompson deep down the left, and he wanted Hergy Mayala, who got turned around with a couple of REDBLACKS there, and Alonzo Adai and Tobias Harris. So it was a 5-point game at the half. It's a 6-point game. REDBLACKS still in front with 15 minutes to play. Defenses on both sides standing up, some near misses as well, as Edmonton is still chasing win number 1. The numbers haven't changed appreciably in the last 15 minutes. It was a 5-point game at the half. Only 5 points scored in that 3rd quarter. Now, you could point to offense is struggling, or defense is just really rising up.
Yeah, 2 defensive coordinators, Jason Shivers and Mark Washington, pretty happy about the score right now, and limiting offenses in a big way here in the first 45 minutes of this football game. And you know, sometimes it's like that, and it's hard to figure out when you've got such a wide field and a lot to work with here. But sometimes it's just a defense's day, but just hold on tight, because it could break out at any minute with all the playmakers on the field. But kudos to the defenses for shutting it down.
It starts with a 3rd and short.
This is 3rd and what, 2, Ron?
About 2 yards. Javon Leake, the running back. Bethel Thompson, he throws it, and he completes it, and it's a first down. Curly Gittens with a big catch there as this Edmonton drive continues.
He impaled Curly Gittens. He's right here. Curly's going to go up there and get the sticks, and the ball's going to hit him right in the 1 and the 9.
And he got hit just as the ball arrived.
Defense. Nice catch.
DeAndre Lamont just making contact with that ball in. Gibbons hangs on. It's a first down. It's Kevin Brown.
Trying to KB in the middle there.
Not much happening there.
Wakefield in there. Bryce Carter. Just kind of anticipating that, Rod, and squeezing those gaps and playing a run well tonight.
Hard fought 3 yards for Kevin Brown. Averaging 35 yards a game. That's what he had last week. He has 25 right now and 8 carries.
You know, all the focus about McLeod Bethel Thompson being a veteran quarterback and pushing the ball down the field and lighting up, just about 300 yards average a game, and that running game has gone to the wayside.
2nd and 7. The Ottawa 36. Throwing and double coverage intended for Mitchell. It falls incomplete, and Bethel Thompson took another hit as he got rid of the football.
He better, because Michael Wakefield was coming now. He's right here. Watch him get after it. I love this guy. I think he can disrupt with the best of them, and he just staples McLeod Bethel Thompson, who's a big man, 6'4", about 235. Wakefield makes him look tiny. And on the back end, everybody arriving at the same time, making sure that was an incomplete pass. Boy, that's tough sledding right there for the offense.
So it'll be a 43-yard try. Boris Beatty was the best kicker by percentage in the CFL last year. He ranks 9th right now and not getting any better tonight. He's had 2 misses. And this one is sailing off to his right again. His 3rd miss on his 6th field goal try, and Tobias Harris brings this one out again. So Edmonton has nothing to show for it after the missed field goal attempt to the right by Boris Beatty.
I'm telling you, that wind tunnel down there is in full effect. We've seen Lewis Ward miss 1, and now this is 2 for Boris Beatty going this way.
Both going to the right, yes, 17-11. The score remains the same. Before the game, CFL officials wore T-shirts recognizing the return of one of their own, Thomas Cesare, the down judge. With that story, let's go back to Claire Hanna.
Thank you, Rod. And it kind of comes with the territory that most officials in any sport get heckled. But tonight, as one referee took to the field, it was impossible not to cheer for him. That's because in January, Thomas Cesare was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. Now, he's been a referee in this league since 2012, but he wasn't sure if he'd ever be back on the field. Now, he underwent surgery in February, then started chemotherapy, and tonight he's back on the field for the first time since that diagnosis. And the other officials surprised him by sporting those awesome shirts with the number 36 and cancer ribbons during warm-up. He said he's been overwhelmed by the support from the community, and he told me these last 6 months have not been normal, but tonight, this feels normal. This is his 193rd CFL game, and he's hoping to get to that 200-game milestone this season, guys.
Oh, Claire, what a wonderful sight, not just for fellow officials, for all of us.
I took a bit of extra time
to see Thomas Cesare back in a CFL field and working a game tonight.
Yeah, can I get a hell yeah? I mean, that's amazing. Yeah, that's a great story. What a community, what a fellowship we have with our CFL officials. Some of the best group of men I've ever been associated with in my 41 years up in this league, and they're just tremendous across the board, showing their love for one another again. If you're looking for something to do and a way to get involved in this game, that is one area you need to take a hard look at. If you love the game of football, you're no longer playing, you want to get back involved, that's as close as you can possibly be on the field with these guys making it happen. Help out at amateur level, get yourself started, and understand what a great opportunity this is to pay it forward in the game of football.
Flag on the play for intentional grounding. The receiver number 25 was in the area. It's third down for Ottawa.
So a lot of pressure in those two places you saw as we were talking about the return of Thomas Cesare, but more pressure by the Edmonton defense on Drew Brown. He was sacked and then tried to throw that one away, ruling a receiver was close enough. Brock Armstead
came in waves too, Rod, on that 1st and 10 sack, and it was impressive once again by Jason Shiver's defense. Looks like they're going to get decent field position here once again, going back to what Jarius Jackson, new head coach, wanted to work on this week already out of the gate, is starting field position.
So back to receive the punt. That's Gavin Cobb. And he's still going. He broke a tackle. He gets it inside the Ottawa zone once again. Edmonton's offense has a good place to start. Hey, MLS on TSN will continue with CF Montreal and Toronto FC. That is tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time. Soccer lives on TSN.
That was Alan Boyko-ish right there. A teammate of mine in Winnipeg. Talked about it. Cal Murphy just wanted his punt returners to catch the ball in the air, not let it bounce.
Right.
Give up those yards. Gavin did it right there and went straight upfield and got his team in great field position on the 53.
Hey, Edmonton's offense, they've enjoyed good places to start. They do again. Ottawa territory, that one thrown, and Kevin Brown couldn't hang on. Second down coming up.
Yeah, McLeod Bethel-Thompson going through his progressions, got a little happy feet there, and justifiably so, because he's been harassed and hurried quite a bit from this Redblacks defense, and he was not comfortable on his spot there on that series. Watch him move around here, trying to go through it, and watch the feet in particular. Oh, no. And threw an inaccurate ball because of it. Kudos to Redblacks deep.
Very different game than last Sunday, where both offenses were really clicking. 2nd and 10. Too far, intercepted. Past his intended receiver, Gino Lewis, who's had a battle going on with DeAndre Lamont. It's Lamont who comes up with the football as Edmonton turns it over.
Yeah, this kid's deserving. I've been watching him, a lot this year and covering this football team. And he comes up with a heck of a play here. Ball's a little out in front. Here's Gino. He's going to run up here, and they're going to try to hit him on a skinny post. And Lamont is there for any miscues. And it's relatively easy. Just threw it to him. He makes a nice catch. Laying out. That's a receiver who's saying, hey, that's a heck of a grab. That's a DB. That's a heck of a grab. Lamont getting his first of the season, third of his career from Baytown, Texas. Well, it feels good, Rod.
Bethel Thompson, Matty, his first interception thrown on the night, his 6th pick on the season as Ottawa takes over at the 26, handing off Justin Hardy, right side, and Elliott Brown taking him down.
Yeah, looking at that one, scratching your head. It's like good field position on the 53 and turn it over like that. Just missed the mark. His receiver not on the same page. A little more of a move, I think, from Eugene Lewis than he had anticipated. They're all looking at it, trying to learn from it. Dakota Prukop in the back, Trey Ford in the front. Of course, MBT holding the tablet. There's Lamont on the other side celebrating. Well-earned interception.
2nd and 8 for that 2-yard pickup. Blitz coming. Brown has enough time to get rid of it to an open receiver, 2 and a first down. Up across the 40. That is caught by the rookie Nick Mardner.
Yeah, he's right here. And watch, attack your area of the coverage. It'll unfold in front of you. Little man coverage, little switch motion. And one guy took 2. There's a beneficiary right there moving sticks.
Gain of 16. Red Blacks hanging on to a 6-point lead. Oh, good job breaking the tackle left side again. Rock Armstead gets it up across the 50 and a 2nd and short coming up.
I like everything about Rock Armstead. Right, Quell. It's just good, solid running. Good tackle on the back end, not until it picks up 7.
Across the 51. Flag comes out. Armstead with the carry and looks to have enough for a first down.
Doesn't look like much, but that's a heck of a run to get that first down. Press it, bounce it, and cut straight up. Pick up what you need. See if it holds.
At the snap, Edmonton had 13 players on the field. We're going to go 10 yards. It's going to be first down for Ottawa.
Yeah, trying to get off, just couldn't make it happen. He's going, he's moving. Ball snap, couldn't get there, got him. A long way to run in this 65-yard width field. It's a good 40-yard sprint.
Didn't make it in time, although looked like it would have been a first down anyway for Ottawa. So the ball, they're scrimmaging just inside the Edmonton 50 now.
Extra old lineman, actually fullback.
Deep look. As the open receiver, Pimpleton just couldn't hang on to that. Would have had himself his 2nd CFL touchdown.
Well, we saw them not connect in the first half on a post. It was just on the outstretched hands of Pimpleton here. Central Michigan product, climbed the pocket beautifully, flicks the wrist and puts it on the money and can't squeeze it. Boy, that's a difference maker. Need that explosive in a close game like this in the 4th quarter. Well, you got to make that play. He knows it.
Well, they'll be thinking about that if they don't win this game, nursing a 6-point lead right now. It's a 2nd and 10. The Edmonton 49. Back-to-back plays that
just
should have been caught, and instead it's a 3rd down coming up.
I sense we got a crowd here at TD Place just waiting to explode and erupt, you know, and go up 2 scores and a couple of big play opportunities. He might have.
Oh, they're caught. I'm sorry. They
look
like an incompletion, but they are calling it a catch.
Yeah, because
he had possession.
Up and then
it's going to be 3rd down.
Oh, no, they're not calling it.
Well, everyone had moved up. They are now making it incomplete. I was wondering, everybody moved up where that ball arrived.
That looks like a catch there. Then he goes to get up.
Or were they thinking that he had trapped the football, though?
I don't think I see a trap. I think I see a clean catch. Let's take a look at it here. Bratton in coverage. That's a catch.
That's a catch. That is.
And then he gets up, and then he's starting to move, make a football move, and then the ball comes out. I think that's a catch and a fumble. And
So it looked initially like they called it a catch, then said no. 3rd down, Leone out.
Challenge that.
So a bit of confusion there as Leone gets rid of it, though. The bottom line for Edmonton, unscathed there, still down 6. Luchez Purifoy, rarely used as a returner, but he is there. And Edmonton football deep in their zone, but it could have been worse. Pimpleton close. He had a touchdown. Rhymes looked like he had it, but evidently not long enough. It comes out. You can catch the WNBA's brightest stars. That is tomorrow. Tune in, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on TSN. WNBA All-Star festivities in Phoenix tomorrow. Watch it then. Great to see the young ones out watching a little CFL action tonight. Edmonton football. Kevin Brown. Not much doing there as the REDBLACKS defense converges.
How about Lozo getting out there? Defensive end going out there in space and tackling that guy. Webb coming up, making a play. Loss of gain of 1 yard. That's huge. Got to get off the field here.
Well, more often than not, Bethel Thompson and the Elks have been able to start in very good field position. This time, though, they are deep to 2nd and 9. They've been managing to get into field goal range and just come up empty. The Edmonton 16, deep ball. Up high there for Gino Lewis. We've seen him make that kind of catch before. It falls incomplete, and 2 and out for the Elks.
Another situation where if you're head coach Jarius Jackson, you got an explosive player on the bench and Trey Ford. You put him in a couple series already in this ball game. But backed up here, I think I want my veteran in there. Good solid defense once again. Forcing a 2nd and long on 1st and 10. Defense rallying to a little quick screen or little swing pass out to the running back, and then good defense on the back end here and forcing a punt.
In fairness to Lewis there, sometimes he makes that catch, but not with someone right in his face and about to make contact just as the ball arrived. That was Davion Taylor, the REDBLACK. So Jake Julian, we need a big punt from him again. It's a lower one.
That was not what he intended.
Taken in Elks zone there by Tobias Harris, who gets it down to the Edmonton 45. Back to work for an Ottawa offense that certainly had its chances the last time they had the ball. What a beautiful July evening in the nation's capital, Friday Night Football. There is Devontae Dedmon with the cap on, who's their star kick returner, has an injured hip and can't play tonight. And so they were leaning on Tobias Harris, not only in the secondary, of course, but also for his kick returning ability. He just had a return, and he is hurt now. Still getting attention from the REDBLACKS medical staff, Matty. Here's how it happened.
Yeah, these are never good. Somebody's got you by one leg, and then posse comes in, and that leg's starting to get torqued. That's stuck in the ground right there, and then here comes the extra weight. And boy, the returners are falling like flies for the REDBLACKS, and looks like Pimpleton's next man up.
He will be Khalil Pimpleton. We showed you his college highlights at Central Michigan. He was an all-star, college all-star kick returner, but there's Dedmon looking on. And
how about him? Best return rate in Canadian Football League history, 4.4 every time.
Got a touchdown every under 5 games. And oh my goodness. And you know what? It's not just the special teams, it's the secondary too. Yeah. With all of the injuries, Brandon Dandridge, Money Hunter, Tobias McGee, another one who was injured. So they've had their losses there, and then Bob Dice has just lost another member of his secondary.
And that it's a domino effect. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's so important to have guys dialed in, next man up mentality. We hear about it all the time. But then what has to happen is communication. And oftentimes formationing with the motion in this league, you can kind of cut those guys out of the herd and make them communicate and isolate them and make them play ball. And it becomes very difficult when you start losing guys as often as Bobby Dice has on his defensive back end.
You'd see a Bob Dice with Corey McDermott, the special teams coordinator, and Dice for many years. McDermott on the left. Many years Dice was the special teams coordinator too, and stays close to that aspect of the game. But well, that's tough. Tobias Harris, second year out of Old Dominion. Excuse me, I meant Elijah McGee, the other injured REDBLACK in the secondary earlier this season. So they have certainly been beaten up that way, and it's not just, as I say, the return adjustment. We expect Khalil Pimpleton, but they have to make an adjustment in their secondary as well. After the return by Harris in his second year with the Red Blacks, it sets up Ottawa's offense nicely in the Edmonton zone. They will start at the Elks 45.
Yeah, Drew Brown, receivers looking to get back on the same page. A couple of miscues in the last drive took points off the board.
1st and 10, Ottawa, the Edmonton 45, and quickly hitting Rhymes.
That'll work.
Gets down near a first down.
I like this play, 4-1 formation, and at the top of the screen, you're going to watch, he's going to come in here and slide, and the ball's going to be put on his upfield shoulder. Raquel goes to the flat, pulls the defender out, easy read for the quarterback. Football 101, delivering the mail, and that's what happened.
A little over 10 yards, yes. As Rhymes points, and had that big breakout game with Ottawa last Sunday. And another player, that's Kai Gray, their starting boundary corner, who had an interception earlier in this game, and he is hurt.
Yeah, he was the man in the coverage there. He just got caught up in the wash. Looks like he's holding his left wrist. Shake it off, run to the boundary, which is a good sign. Here's a look at it. Tough to see. Could be a finger, could be a wrist. We'll shake that off. Here we go, 1st and 10, Rod. Here we go.
At the Edmonton 35. 6-point difference. If they could even get a field goal, it becomes a 2-score game. Here's a deep look down the left. Coverage is there, and a flag comes out, though. Coverage a little too close by Marcus Lewis on Dominic Rhymes. Looks like a pass interference call coming out.
I think this could go either way.
Think it's OPI?
I think it could. Yeah. I think, again, the DB uses the sidelines to his advantage. Look at his hips are turned in there. It's good field position, playing inside.
Ottawa, number 15.
Now just start squeezing him.
10-yard penalty will replay first down.
Yeah, and then Rhymes just throws him out of the way. That's an easy OPI call. That's great defense, and I think Dominic Rhymes does the right thing because
prevent the interception.
Absolutely, taking points off the board there.
Picked off in the end zone, so instead
1st and 20.
Yeah, they go back 10 yards. 1st and 20. Edmonton 45. Quickly off to the right. Jalen Ackland inside the 40. Quieter night for Ackland.
Quickly is right. Ackland, we see him make a circus catch down there in the first half on the sidelines, became Gumby, and then Lucius Purifoy, first man in on this completion. Ball's out quickly because it's got to travel a long way. Ackland makes the catch, and then the helmet just flies right off.
Second catch of the night for Ackland. And it's still a 2nd and long after that 7-yard pickup at the Edmonton 38, but important, too, that it gets them a little closer to a field goal try that, as mentioned, could make it a 2-possession game, at the very least. A draw, Armstead going nowhere.
Wow.
Looks like he just gets back to the line of scrimmage, so it's a 3rd down, and Lewis Ward will be coming on again.
Tommy Condell thought he'd catch him napping, and Edmonton's defense, Jason Shire, said, no, we're all over that. Kind of a passive call, but to your point, Rod, still in decent field position to kick a 45-yard.
Lewis Ward 3 for 4. This will be a 45-yard try. His longest on the night is 48. All important at this point to make it a 9-point lead for Ottawa as Leone puts it down and Lewis Ward puts it through to go 4 for 5 on the night after going 5 for 5 last Sunday in Edmonton, and a 9-point edge for the Red Blacks. Remember the BC Lions circa 2007? The quarterback, Jarius Jackson, the receiver, Superman. G. Roy Simon, who's now the interim general manager of the Edmonton Elks, and the interim head coach, Jarius Jackson, remembering his friendship and longtime friendship with G. Roy Simon.
A big reason why I think he got tapped on the shoulder is that past relationship that Rick Lawlisher had with both those players. G. Simon, leading receiver all time in the Canadian Football League, he did that to a lot of DBs. And Jarius was 9-2 that year, I believe. And,
in 2007.
Had 11 starts, went 9-2, and showed us that he's got a lot of quarterback in him, and took full advantage of his opportunity.
You consider BC's quarterback room when Jackson came to the CFL. That's Bethel Thompson, completes it to Mayala. In the quarterback room in 04, Dave Dickinson, Casey Printers, and Buck Pierce as well. I believe Jackson was 4th in the depth that year.
He was. And
worked his way up.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do in the CFL is to look at the quarterback rooms across the league in different years and just go like, oh my goodness.
You were part of a big one,
pretty
too.
solid.
1st and 10. It is caught. Mayala again down to the Ottawa 50.
Sergi was going the wrong way, and he felt 3 or 4 Red Blacks coming downhill at him, and he just kind of grinned and buried it right there. Nice catch, go down low throw. He picked up his quarterback and then took on some damage there coming across the field.
3 minutes on the clock.
With 3:07 on the clock.
So Jackson taking a timeout before.
So please reset the clock to 3:07.
You can't take 2 in the 3-minute warning.
Yeah, so gets that one in. So they'll put the clock back to 3:07, and they still do have the time with the 3-minute warning. But Edmonton, a record of 0-5 coming in and trying to avoid falling to 0-6 in the head coaching debut of Jarius Jackson. Trey Ford looks on. No touchdown scored by the Elks in this game. 3 Boris Beatty field goals and a punt single and a missed field goal that went for 1 more. And that's it. They need a touchdown. Bethel Thompson caught again on the short pass. Down to around the 45. And a 1st down for Edmonton.
Doesn't look like much, but that's big right there.
So Curly Gittins has the catch that has extended this drive at the 45 of Ottawa. 3-minute warning is given and a 9-point difference.
A good finish here in the nation's capital, but don't forget, over on TSN3, it is the Blue Bombers and the Rough Riders just kicking off from Regina.
Part 2 of the doubleheader, and already underway, as Kate mentioned, and for the final 3 minutes here in Ottawa. McLeod Bethel Thompson. That one is incomplete on the 1st down, and Edmonton desperately needing a touchdown to get back into this football game, and it's so late.
Just 4-man pressure, and McLeod Bethel Thompson finds somebody twisting right into his face. Watch the little move right here, and next thing you know, McLeod's got Lozo right in his flap, affecting the throw and his vision and ability to follow through. We've seen it all night in a 20-11 ball game. Defense has been dominating.
9-point difference. They're going against kind of a strong cross breeze that's messed up the field goal game going that way. Dylan Mitchell. He's taken out by Bennett Williams on that catch.
Take 3 here, down 9. I would, you know. What are they doing? They're going for it here.
Well, if you know, it'd be a long one. Boris Beatty has struggled kicking it in that direction, especially.
We're looking at the flag down in the end zone, and definitely wind is cutting across the face of that goalpost.
So this is pretty much it. And a 3rd and 5 for the Elks. They're going for it. Up for Gino Lewis, who comes down with the ball. How many times have we seen that from 87?
Snatch it. Just snatch it. That's just, you know, and the reason why he's successful, one, it's an accurate pass. He's a tall receiver, got great hands. And Lamont, he's having a good football game. Got a lot of respect for his play and ability, but it's a timing throw, and he doesn't have a chance to make a play on that football, and Gino just goes and snatches it.
Lamont right there, but beautifully executed by Bethel Thompson and Eugene Lewis.
Huge 3rd and 5 conversion.
They get that. They get it inside down to the 18. Little pump fake. The pressure's coming. He gets rid of it, and It's just as well he didn't have much on that. Javon Santos-Knox nearly had himself a present.
Lozo's in there as well. You got Cleon Lang was in there. We're twisting up front, you know, just making it happen. Watch them just go. They're just making havoc just by not playing the whole man, twisting and playing half of the man. There's the move there. Then it's like, hello. Lozo feasting on a little tackle in stunt there.
2:34 on the clock. The Elks need 2 scores. 9-point difference. 2nd and 10. Time. Corner pass. Kevin Brown keeps his feet. Breaks another tackle. Picks up another couple of yards and a 3rd and short coming up, but much closer for Boris Beatty now should they want to try to take the field goal.
Throwing Beatty out there. So.
Making more sense now. It is so much closer.
You got to take 3 here. Put yourself within 6. With 2:25 on the clock, get a stop defensively. Jason Shire's going to have to rely on his defense one more time. First, he's got to get Beatty to get on track here with a short chip shot.
Here's the 19-yarder and a rough night for Boris Beatty. He's missed 3, and that one is through, and you can see how the wind was playing with that as well as it headed up, but he aimed it a little bit to his left, which allowed for the adjustment for 3 on the board, but he was 1 for 2 at a big miss last week, and it's a sample of his night, Matty.
Yeah, you can just see the wind playing havoc, much like it has been over there at the Open overseas with those players and trying to play golf and trying to kick a football in these conditions. Doesn't look like much, but it is cutting straight across that football field on that end and pushing everything right. And we've seen Lewis Ward miss one and Beatty struggling.
And remember, too, Boris Beatty, who came into the league with Montreal, known for just the booming leg. He was a punter as well. But in terms of accuracy, he was over 94%. He was #1 in the CFL, ahead of Ward and ahead of Paredes and ahead of Sean White last year when he was with the Argos. So he can be an accurate kicker. He's having a rough patch right now, but he gets that for 3, and it's a 1-score game, 20-14.
We got so many good kickers in this league.
So many.
Yeah, Sergio Castillo, Aaron Havalahu, just naming a few. But the top 3 right now, we see Lewis Ward, we see Paredes, Sean White.
And of course, he doesn't want to kick this one out of bounds like last week when it looked like they were heading to overtime against Ottawa.
He just tried to overkick that football, and it goes out of bounds, cost him 30 yards. REDBLACKS have it at the 50, have a 29-yard completion to Pimpleton, and then a chip shot to Lewis Ward.
Pimpleton was back, but he's not the one that gets it. It's a Darius Pickett on the return, and a good return by Pickett. Doesn't get many reps at returning, but making the most of it. Of course, mentioning Devontae Dedmon is hurt, and Tobias Harris was hurt earlier in the last return, so Pickett brings it out.
That is just ridiculous show of talent by a Darius Pickett. I mean, the guy's got 225 career tackles, 43 special teams tackles, so he's doing it on that end too. 11 quarterback sacks, 3 interceptions, 5 forced fumbles, and he's returning kicks.
And a partridge in a pear tree. And he's the party starter too, don't you know?
I mean, you know, they got him this offseason. They're loving it, man.
Yeah, he does a lot. And it's his first year with the REDBLACKS after an all-star year with the Argos last year, Darius Pickett, and with the Alouettes before that. Taking the handoff, throwing it complete to, that's Jalen Acklin.
Nice little play, tough throw for the quarterback, going hard to his left after a little ISO fake in the backfield, and he's got a receiver sitting down. Watch him go hard to his left. He's got to flip his hips and his shoulders and get this ball out with 2 people in his face. Spots it nicely, picks up 15. Look at this, this is tough. Easily could have gone the other way, batted up in the air. Bad things could happen in a heartbeat, but Drew Brown, that's a big play. Doesn't look like much, but killing the clock here with 1:46 and running. That's what he's looking to do.
Well, as good as Edmonton's defense has been in the second half especially, they need a stop now. The clock ticking, and Rock Armstrad trying to make things hard on them as he gets it inside the 50. It'll be a 2nd and short coming up for Ottawa. 1:33 on the clock.
Yeah, REDBLACKS trying to win again here at home. And you got to do that. You got to protect your house. Jason Shivers trying to get a play from his defense.
The Elks, Matty, have been losing by an average of 4 points a game. Last 3 on walk-off field goals. They're trailing this one by 6. And Ottawa for Bob Dice. They seem to be on the losing end of all these close games a year ago, and now they've been turning it around.
That's the difference.
A fine line.
Closing out, either coming from behind and winning with the last second field goals, or making plays like the one we just saw.
2nd and 4.
There you go.
Armstead again. First down again.
I mean, this is important in the middle of July, as is important in the middle of November, you know, to be able to have a running game and control the line of scrimmage and move the sticks when defenses know you're running the football. And there's a quarterback and running back celebrating, a big offensive lineman just moving the pile. It's good football. Bobby Dice got a tough football team. Jarius going, man. Keep him going. Mondo Siwa there. You got Oakman in the background. Jarius going, looking at that clock, studying it. Down to 109. Man down, so you can talk about it.
The Edmonton Elks started 0-9 last season, and they're facing an 0-6 start now with new head coach and Jarius Jackson. But the result at this point still, unless barring a great comeback, looks like it might be remaining the same.
Yeah, you're looking at 1st and 10 here, 109 on the clock. What do you do if you're Edmonton? You pressure them. You believe in a lot of one-on-one situations, some dangerous receivers in Rhymes, Ackland, Addison, Pimpleton, and Hardy. Any one of those guys I'd be happy to go to in one-on-one situation if you want to get risky and bring pressure on the young quarterback, Drew Brown. If not, then they're going to just sit in holes and hopefully get your hands up and knock a ball down and jump it maybe. But I'm not pressuring Drew Brown here in this receiving core, because I think that makes it too easy for the quarterback, simplifies the game, and you just play pitch and catch. I'd like to see them maybe bring pressure from a different angle and drop people off, mix it up, make them hold it, see if you can't get to them.
Critical now for the Elks and their defense with 1:09 on the clock and a first down.
A lot of coaching going on, Rod. A lot of coaching going on.
Oh, yeah. See Sean Oakman there, the ex-Argo, and good to see Kai Gray back out there after he was injured earlier. But a 1st and 10 at the Edmonton 42. Red Blacks getting closer to another win. Armstead works it down inside the 40. Stick to the ground. 2nd down coming up.
Not a lot of smoke and mirrors by the Red Blacks there. They just lined up like they're going to run the football and gave it to their star running back. And Edmonton read it pretty easily, picked up 3.5, 4 yards there. Got to get off the field. Got to come up with a turnover. Less than a minute to go.
Clock is ticking under a minute now. They whistle this in a 2nd and 6. If the Elks get the ball back, they'll be needing a touchdown if they get it back. Big down here. Rolling to the right. Well, looks like they will get the ball back as Brown slides, and a longer 3rd down coming up here for Ottawa, as they're hoping Leone can pin the Elks deep and give them a long field to work with very little time. 41 on the clock.
Well, really not. Obviously, I think what they're trying to do is move the pocket, not leave him in a position where the Red Blacks or the Elks knew where he's going to be. Kill some time, but it almost looked like a design play, but they gave up about 14 yards there. Wow.
So Leone at the Ottawa 45, and 2 returners going back for the Elks. Luchez Purifoy and Javon Leake.
I would punt to Luchez Purifoy.
Punt it to Luchez.
I would not give Javon Leake an opportunity. He had 4 returns last year in a Toronto uniform.
Leake will get it about his 3-yard line. Oh, he takes a hard hit. Tyron Breda, who was injured and missed last week.
That's right.
The global sensation coming in, lays it in on Leake there.
First round pick from North Dakota. Had a bead on Javon Leake. Oh, Javon Leake just took all of that. Man. Whack.
Good old-fashioned downfield tackling there by Tyron Breda.
Makes all that rehab and worth it.
You get some praise on the sideline, I'm sure. If the Edmonton 19, they need a touchdown. They need it fast. And a flag is out. Eugene Lewis.
What we got? Hey, some little extracurricular down there, hands to the face or something. Oh my.
So,
major foul, roughing the passer. Ottawa number 90. It's a 15-yard penalty.
Cleon Lang.
Automatic first down.
Working
for
hard.
Edmonton.
Oh, you got kind of pushed on him.
well, it moves the Elks out a bit, but still,
4 seconds on the clock.
seconds on the clock. It just makes the Hail Mary a little bit shorter.
I know McLeod Bethel's got a strong arm, but
Not that strong.
They're gonna have to throw it underneath and try a little hook and ladder something. Ran a play, kick it with an onside man to the other side of the field, something. All right, there you go.
So they run a draw for Kevin Brown, who looks to be flipping it back. And it'll go in the hands of the Ottawa REDBLACKS, who won only 4 games last year, only 4 the year before. They've had 6 games this season, and they win their 4th. And they're 2 games over 500, Matt, for the first time since the first 2 games of 2019.
Yeah, and these REDBLACKS fans are loving it. Great place to watch football, TD Place, and great night for football. It wasn't a shootout by no means. It was a defensive stalemate and a lot of hard-nosed play out there. Jarius Jackson was looking for a better outcome. Mark Washington's defense, who was hugging there, is just up to the task of shutting down a very talented offensive football team, and they did enough offensively in spite of a couple turnovers by the young quarterback. Took points off the board, got the job done at home.
So this is part 1, Friday Night Football. Bob Dice gets to celebrate again for the 4th time this season. And the Edmonton Elks, it was close again, within a score, but not close enough as they fall to 0-6. Part 1 of the doubleheader is done. Part 2 underway. First, let's head back to the studio and Kate Burness.
Rod, we will get you to Regina for the second half of our doubleheader in just a minute. But Enoch, 0-6 for the Edmonton Elks. You thought after the changes at the top, Chris Jones isn't there anymore. Maybe something would spark them tonight, but they looked flat all night.
We talked about it at the top. There's not enough time to get too many things changed within this first week. But at the end of the day, they look like they're in disarray out there in Edmonton. The offense is not in sync. And for the first time, we saw a defense that showed up, but they were not on the same page.
Offensively, they were not good today at all. And look, regroup, short week is what it is.
Well, take the offensive coordinator, make him the head coach, or you take him out of the booth where he's someplace he hasn't been
a lot of changes.
2 years, 3 years, and then maybe you give Marcus Howell, who's a great young coach, the play calling. I mean, I don't know how they did that, but on a short week, it's almost a near impossible thing. Their offense played the way you might expect.
All right, let's get you to Regina.